my lord, you guys, look, my camera is not even working. What's going on here? Hold on. See, is it even working? Can y'all see? Okay. This is embarrassing. Well, hello there. See what happens when you just, I don't even know what's going on. Hold on 1 second, y'all. We're gonna, is this what I'm looking for? Okay, cool. I don't know what's up with my camera, but y'all can hear me? Oh, dear Lord. What a crazy day it has been. Okay, let's turn this on and off. Camera, deactivate, activate. Oh, I know what's going on. I gotta exit. Gotta exit. Turn this off. Turn this off. Y'all, what is going on? Hi, everybody. All right. Whoa, I'm here. Woo. All right, let me get to the chats. How's it going, y'all? Cindy from sunny South Florida. Miss Dizzle. Jazzy. Hey, Rach is in the house. Oh my lord. Coco Mom, what up? You guys, I rushed home from work. Right, Chloe? I'm telling you, these updates are making me crazy too, y'all. Whew. Well, happy Friday to everybody. All right. Has everybody settled in yet? Is everybody buckled in? Because I have no idea what we're going to be talking about tonight. I just know that there's been a ton of updates. We got the hat today. Yeah, you did. Because I went to work today. It was casual day. And I didn't do my hair, y'all. I didn't do my hair. But that's okay. All right. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? Y'all can hear me? Busy Friday with work. You know, the 9 to 5. Y'all know how that goes. All right, you guys. So a lot has happened. A lot has happened today in Arizona, in Tucson. Yeah. What Cindy said, y'all need to hit that. Y'all hit to smash the like button, y'all. All 21 of y'all. All right, y'all. So what is going on? I heard it's been crazy. That's all I heard. And there's a shit ton of videos that came out, and we're just gonna get right into it, y'all. If any of you guys have any links that have any good videos, please make sure you send them to me on the Discord if y'all are in the Discord. If not, you guys can email me. My email address is right here, right there. flojotv@gmail.com. All right, let's see. What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, so I have a video right here from TMZ. I was told that I need to watch this. So y'all are gonna watch this with me, okay? I know, Peekaboo, it's been crazy day number 8, right? This stuff just never ends. All right, y'all. So how many of you guys have seen this video? Apparently, this is a good one. I was told that you guys need to watch this. So, whoop, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch it. All right, this is Harvey, TMZ. This is the Savannah Guthrie situation just took a turn, and he looks awake right now, right? All right, y'all. Let's just get into it.
At this alleged ransom note 20 times last night, and there is something
like number 8, silly. Hey, okay, my bad, Peekaboo.
I believe now that there is a way of connecting the dots, and that law enforcement has an area that they are most interested in terms of where Nancy might be, if this letter is legit. And I say it for this reason, that obviously the person who took Nancy, if this is the person who wrote this ransom letter, they're demanding money. And if they get the money, they're saying they will return her. That's obvious, right? Well, in the letter, it says they would return her back to Tucson. So they also give a time frame of how long it would take after they received the money to return her to
Neither can I,
Tucson.
Rage.
So there's a time frame. Now, if you look at the time frame, then you say, well, you can draw a circle around Tucson to see how long maximum it would take to get her back there. And they're not going to fly her back, because the last thing they're going to do is go to an airport where Nancy Guthrie shows ID. That's not going to happen. So clearly it would be driving. And they're not going to drive at 100 miles an hour because if they get stopped for speeding, it's over. So they're going to go at around the speed limit. So let's say that if this letter is legit, they would travel at about 60 miles an hour. So based on this time frame,
oh, he's a
in the
physics
letter,
whiz
and the
now,
fact
huh?
that she would be returned back to Tucson, here's the way it looks. If you look, this is Tucson right here. If you
Oh
look at
shit,
this
map time, y'all. We got a map time.
red circle, that is the radius of the maximum amount of time it would take to get her back to Tucson, all around this circle. It incorporates California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho.
Damn, y'all. Shout out to the TMZ artist that just, okay. Wow. They really drew a map, huh?
It incorporates Colorado, Wyoming, a little bit of Kansas, and a little bit of
The boss
Oklahoma.
B-ish. What's
Now,
up?
that's
What's
a
up?
big
Ramona
area for sure.
Light Healer, how's it going?
But it is not the full United States. It's not the world. At least it's a defined area. And again, if the letter is legitimate,
Hi,
then
Felicia.
it would seem, based on the amount of time maximum it would
Top
take
chat,
to bring her
live
back
chat.
to Tucson, it's this area
Art Deco.
that I would think
Mama Jax
authorities
is in the
are
house.
most interested in. And remember,
Mama Jack said, I wonder how accurate his calculations are. Probably not, right? Probably
they
not.
are looking for anybody who possibly has information
I'm
on
good.
the whereabouts.
I'm good. I just got off of work,
So,
rushed home.
There's a $50,000
Look, you guys, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to stream on Stream Deck because you can stream on YouTube, Twitch, X, Instagram, etc. I came home, tried to set it up. Didn't realize that I created a live and people were all in the chat for probably like half an hour, and I was like, "What? Where's all these chats coming from?" And then I really wasn't gonna go on, but then people were like, "Yo, you better come on. You're late." So I'm here. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, but I'm here.
For information leading to her return. So I would think that this area is particularly interesting to them. I want to say a couple of other things.
No, I don't
letter,
think they have, Ramona. Not
people
yet.
have been
Unfortunately,
asking,
not.
does it seem like it's written by just a crazy person?
Storm,
The
I don't know
answer
what
is no.
happened. I don't think any notifications went
This
out.
letter was very well constructed. It had structure.
Let me share it though
had a
in
beginning, middle, and end.
the Discord.
It was well done. I mean, if you took this letter to an English teacher and said, give me notes on structure,
Hey,
on
thank you,
grammar,
Chloe, for sharing all this.
probably would get
I
no
appreciate
notes
you.
back. It's done by somebody, I believe, who is educated and really spent time. This was not something that took 5 minutes to write. This was a well-constructed letter. Final thing I want
Really?
to say, and now this is opinion, that it is interesting to me that we got this ransom letter, but also the other two media outlets.
Oh, Coco,
that
you got one?
letters were both located.
Dang, 13 minutes ago,
Tucson.
I've only,
They were
okay.
television
That sounds about
stations
right.
in Tucson. So why would somebody?
Nope,
who
I'm
wrote
not
a
going
letter
anywhere.
like this
I told you
know
guys last night I didn't want to leave, right? So I went to work like I'm supposed to, and it was like, I need to get home. There's too much going on.
about the local stations and send to the local
Storm, your favorite.
if they have no connection to Tucson. It feels like there is a connection to Tucson.
You got
the
two?
person who wrote this
Damn,
letter.
I feel like
And you know, a lot of people are saying,
my
well,
account's
it
on
happened
3.
because Savannah Guthrie is rich and famous, which she is. But is it that somebody looked at Savannah Guthrie and said, let's find a relative? Or is it somebody who lives in the Tucson area and knows
Ooh.
either knows Nancy Guthrie or knows of her and knows her famous daughter is Savannah Guthrie, and it hatches from that. It seems to me, just based on where the letter went, that it's the latter. So the bottom line here, I know that the law enforcement has been saying they are desperate for clues, and they clearly
Not even
are.
close.
But just in terms of the people who might help, I think heads up in this area.
Stormy, you really think it's something bigger, huh? Like how much bigger? You think this is like a warning shot to like news anchors and reporters? You guys waited all day for me to get out. Stop it. Stop it. Chloe, I feel you, right? I feel you. Standing on business like Ashley Banfield, 10 toes down. I feel like she tripled down today. Okay, there's a new video that Brian Enton put up. Let's actually take a look at this because here, there's one that he put up on YouTube.
Right, so they just towed the.
So this is about a minute long, and I think he talks about the car that was in Nancy Guthrie's garage that got towed.
Car.
Let's listen in.
The shot, Mo got the shot, and you can see. Wait, where's the tow truck? Is that
Soul Power? How's it going?
Point to it right there. Point to it.
David is way guilty. Goals here.
SUV on it. So Mo had a closer look when it was there a second ago, and he says it's the same SUV that was in the garage.
High goal.
But it was blue. Remember Mo got this shot with his drone. So anyway, I know it's blurry, but that's the tow truck leaving. This is the scene out here right now.
Where is Foxy? I don't know. Probably working.
Everybody got moved back, and they closed the whole area off. I was showing you earlier, and FBI is still out there at Nancy Guthrie's house. We're all just kind of back here.
Gold digger, what's up? Soul Power, how you doing? How you doing? Did you guys hear the news too? They arrested the stepbrother for Anna Kepner for the Anna Kepner case. Oh, and that crash that took place yesterday in Los Angeles, you guys hear about that? Car ran into the 99 Ranch Market in Westwood and killed 3 people. I was told that it was like national news. Crazy. Hold on. Okay, so we got another video by everybody's favorite president. I'm just kidding, you guys. I'm just kidding. Donald Trump. He talks about some very strong clues. So I want to listen in because I haven't heard any of what he's had to say. Let's just listen in.
And I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Is this a nationwide search? Is this
Viking woman, what's up?
I'm talking about a search. I'm talking about a solution. We have some things I think that will maybe come out reasonably soon from DOJ or FBI or whoever that could be
no way.
Yeah, could be definitive.
Chris, the one thing I've learned from covering Donald Trump for the past 10 years is he pretty much says what he knows or what's on his mind. Decipher that. What has he been briefed on that would allow him to say that?
He's likely been
Miss
briefed on
Dizzle.
the impetus behind this new activity.
Thank you for your $2 super chat.
Location.
Prayers for Nancy.
He's
yes,
also probably
hit that
been
like.
briefed on information that's come out of the interviews. The first 48 hours in these situations, and I've done dozens, if not hundreds, of these types of cases, is the critical point of conducting those interviews and gathering the initial information, not just from people in the surrounding area, not just from friends and neighbors, but from the relatives, the individuals that had the last contact with her. And then you're going to want to go back and re-interview those individuals. The longer that this goes on, though, the problem you have with the interviews.
Hey, Mama Flo, can you drop the Cash App or the Venmo in the chat?
Or they just tend to incorporate what they're hearing on the news and from other individuals.
It's hard to.
Okay, you guys, look at this. So here you guys can see that they have FBI agents on the roof. I believe this is her house, right? So what are they doing on the roof? And this is the car that I believe that they towed from the garage. So, oh dear Lord. Dear Lord, right?
That people that have gaps in their memories or they just tend to incorporate what they're hearing on the news.
D Fuentes, thank you so much for your $2.99. Thank you so much for your $2.99 super sticker. Hey, D Lucky. Oh, I got my auntie in the house. What's up, auntie?
6 days later, what you heard on TV and what you actually remember. Brian, I keep coming back to this, and I think about if there is a trial for whoever kidnapped Nancy Guthrie, and we hope she's brought back alive, but if she's not, who was involved in her murder, if that is where this goes, it would be so easy to attack all of the police work. And yet again, we see the police.
I'm not going to lie. This looks like a massive house. Does anybody know the details about this house? They got a, I'm assuming this is their pool too. This looks like a massive house.
Dropping the crime scene tape.
Art Deco Rose. Art Deco Rose, thank you for the $5 super chat. Why on earth did they let their mom's camera subscription lapse? Oh, I didn't even know that they made it lapse, or they let it lapse. That is crazy. That is wild. They just didn't think about it. Like, how many of you guys like forget to pay your subscriptions, or just realize that Apple just kind of took money from you, right? This is crazy. Like, how do you forget that? I don't know. I feel like these apps don't let you forget. They just forget to remind you they charged you, right?
Surround the house again, now for the second time, and then rush back and shut everything down. Are you hearing from your sources or law enforcement you've talked to, especially federal law enforcement, why things seem to be starting and stopping in this very haphazard way?
Ronan said maybe that was part of the plan. You think so? That is... Whose fault is that? Does that fall on Savannah? Does that fall on Annie? Yo, that's wild, Ronan. That's wild.
In the beginning.
Oh, there you go.
And they are the ones who went in, investigated
they are
the
Mac
crime scene,
Dizzleson.
and then very quickly took the crime scene tape down. And I would imagine, you know, that the FBI, now that they seem to be in charge, they're probably not happy that it went down that way, because we saw them come back earlier this week and create a crime scene and then take it down. And now here they are again, where they've closed the whole block down. Wouldn't it have just made sense to keep the crime scene tape up all week long? I mean, we've seen that happen in other cases all over the country.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
All right. There's a ton of new stuff today. So somebody, Felicia just sent me, and Chloe sent me a video of the, Brian Enton put out a new video with, Art Del Cueto. I think that's his name. The border guy.
Hey guys, thanks so much.
And I just want to check this out because I haven't seen it yet. Everybody's been saying it's good. Updated just an hour ago.
So much for checking out my show. Really
shut up,
appreciate
Cuomo.
it. Please click to subscribe.
Shout out to Rabbit.
A ton of new activity and information coming out with the Nancy Guthrie case. I used to be way down there. That's where Nancy's house is. They've actually moved us back. They closed off the entire area and set up yet another crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's house. And there's a ton of FBI that just arrived. So I'm going to get into all of that in this episode. And then, of course, the big news, there is now a second note.
That's what I want to know too, Ronan. How long has it
been sent to a local TV station here in Tucson. I'm going to give you the latest details on what is in that note. And then finally in this episode, something really interesting. I went out with a former Border Patrol agent, law enforcement, knows this area so well, has lived here for 20 years, took me into the desert around Nancy's house just to show me what the terrain is like. And also, by the way, he has actually seen the first ransom note.
Oh, does she, Storm? I didn't know that.
He's seen it. He's read it. There's a lot.
So where the hell are they at now?
But he gave me some new insight into that note. I'm going to get into all of it in this episode of Brian Investigates. All right, guys. So again, as I was saying, there has been a lot going on here today. The biggest news, I think, is the fact that there is now a second note that has arrived. And we don't know a ton about it, but the FBI has confirmed that there's a second note.
Shout out to Jazzy Jazz with her $15 Venmo donation. Hey. Damn, y'all are on a roll tonight, huh? Friday night got y'all feeling some type of way. And you know what? I didn't realize how tall Savannah is compared to her mom. I actually used this photo on my thumbnail, and it wasn't the whole entire photo. She is tall.
KOLD TV, which is a local TV affiliate here in Tucson, confirms that they received the note. Their news director.
I know. That's what I said.
Like a form. Like,
did it sound like 50?
And you can fill out a form. and then it emails
Ramona. That would be
company, you know,
crazy.
the news agency, that's the way that it came in. And this is the new information about the second note. They say the IP address is not the same IP address as the initial note, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their IP address.
What does that even mean? They were sent from different IP addresses, but they were sent from the same secure server. So if somebody has something like NordVPN or Surfshark, and they're using the same like app, what they can do is just kind of change the location that it's sending from, and then it would just kind of dish it off into a different what is it called? I totally forgot what I'm trying to say. Anyways,
new note contains
this is what he said.
Is not the same IP address as the initial note, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their IP address. The new note contains something the senders seem to think will prove to investigators that there's the same people who sent the first note. So different IP address as the first note, but the same secure server was used to hide their IP address. And there's something in this second note that the senders think will prove to investigators that they're the same people who sent the first note. So the FBI has confirmed that they are looking into it. And remember, ultimately, it's going to be up to Savannah Guthrie and her family how to handle these things. And the FBI has made that clear. They're the ones who decide, the Guthries, how to respond to these notes if they want to pay the ransom. Remember, the first note had 2 deadlines. The first deadline was yesterday, so Thursday at 5 p.m. And then the second deadline is Monday. And I've been trying to understand why there could be 2 deadlines, and I still don't know the answer to that. One theory that I've been thinking about and floating around with some of my FBI friends is, like, could it first deadline be for less money and the second deadline be for more money? That's a possibility. But I was over at Annie Guthrie's house earlier, and they basically said that the people outside said they thought that Savannah Guthrie had actually left, and Annie Guthrie had left that house and weren't there anymore, and the house was empty. So I don't know if they have found a new house where they're all staying right now, the Guthrie family. I'm not really sure. In terms of what's been happening here at Nancy Guthrie's house, it has been like totally
VPN scrambler
the last couple of hours. First of all, we were outside just in our spot that we always are, and the sheriff's deputies all came in and said everybody has got to get out right at this moment. All the media has to leave, which hasn't happened before. Of course, they did have that second crime scene they set up, but they didn't make the media leave. This time they said, we're closing off the entire area, the whole block, and everybody has to leave. And so we had to quickly pack up our stuff and go. I took a quick video when all this was happening. Take a look.
So something interesting is happening outside the house. So all of these sheriff's deputies showed up.
Now this was crazy. I guess apparently all of the media teams were set up in one spot, and out of nowhere, sheriff's department and FBI came and told them they needed to scramble, right? And they were asking them, like, what was the reason? And they were saying that it was for investigative reasons, meaning that they were about to set up shop again, all over again, and then canvass the scene.
And they are now, you see down there, they are closing off the road.
Viking, if you gift memberships, does it go to people that are in the chat now or random? I think it's random people who are subscribed to the channel. I don't know if it's necessarily people who are in the chat. Damn. I wish I had the answers, because I really wish that you can gift people in the chat, but unfortunately, YouTube does not work that way. Hey, hold on. I'm just noticing now that the mods no longer have a wrench. They have a shield. Is this new? What is going on?
All the media leave this block, so we're not going to be able to be in front of the house anymore.
Thank you,
Chloe. They said this is for investigation reasons.
And Pars, what's going on?
I don't know what they're about to do with the house, but they don't want the media in front of the house anymore. So basically, everybody out here has been told to pack up, and she's saying they need room for their investigators.
I just noticed. Yep, I did.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for all your hard work. We appreciate all you do for us.
I'm sorry. Yeah, see those cones right there?
She said they need room for their investigators to do what they need to do. So something is
the
about
YouTube
to happen
popos, huh?
From an investigative standpoint, and we're all going to have to move. But it's interesting. You know, they had
Me too. David is guilty. David is way guilty.
They took it down.
I just got one not too long ago.
Are apparently going to be doing more out here.
So we had to move everybody off of the road, and we had to leave. Everybody had to leave in a hurry. And as I was walking out, I looked and I could see that there were FBI vehicles arriving, dark tinted windows, evidence response vans.
Oh,
and then when we were able to get our drone up, we could see.
Wait, hold on. Once. Oh no, you guys can see this.
That there were a ton of FBI in front of the house.
They did, D Lucky. They just took her car. Brian Enton just said that some people came to tow it. So I'm thinking, I'm really wondering, like, what is the purpose of towing her car, though? What evidence do you guys think there might be inside the car?
They set up their units in front of the house, and then they were also behind the house. And I actually saw a picture of them behind the house, looking in the woods behind the house. So it's just interesting. You think about, they had the first crime scene here.
Yeah, that's the driveway, you guys. Look at this.
Back up. They had a second crime scene earlier this week where they put the crime scene tape up for 2 hours, opened it back up, and now here they are again. And the timing is interesting that they swarmed this area.
Yeah, you guys, drop your theories in the chat. I want to know what you guys think is going on, because I am so befuddled.
Again, got everybody out, brought the FBI in right around the same time that this second note arrived at KOLD at the TV station. So the timing is really interesting. I want to show you, though, I went out with Art Del Cueto. He is a former Border Patrol agent who lives in this area. I went out with him into the brush.
David is guilty. So am I. So am I.
Just to get a feel for what it's like out there with the wildlife and with just the desert. I'm not from the desert, so I just wanted to get a feel. The other thing
I love that though, Boss Bish. I love it.
So I wanted to ask what he knows about that. Here is when I went out with Art. I'm not from this area. I'm from Florida, so I don't know much about the desert.
Right.
Tell me, we're right very close to where Nancy went missing from. Show me this, like.
So we're extremely close. I want people to know that we're extremely close, because I don't want them to come after you and say, "Oh, you wasn't even close."
No, we are.
We're walking distance, right?
Yes.
We're trying to avoid all the other media.
Yes.
So we're out here to show the reality, because people don't understand how bad the terrain would be.
There you go. There is the chat.
Easily find a person or track somebody. With the United States Border Patrol, you're taught different tracking skills, and I think that's what helps. But this is the terrain where we're used to walking.
I heard about that, Miss Dizzle.
Trying to track traffickers of human smuggling and drug smuggling. But the way this is called the wash. A lot of people don't use that terminology. And as we walk through here, you'll see this is kind of like a trail where you know which way to walk.
Thanks,
in there.
Whoa.
You're gonna have some broken branches in this area.
Whoa. Ronan just gifted a membership. If you receive that gifted membership from Ronan, please make sure you thank him. And Viking Woman just sent 5 gifted memberships. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the inner circle, y'all. Oh, shoot. I'm not on camera. Whoa, here I am. Ronan coming in hot, y'all. Y'all are feeling some type of way on a Friday, huh? Dang, maybe I need a stream. Ronan just sent another gifted membership. You guys, wow, I appreciate this. This is awesome. This is awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your support for the channel. Thank you. And everybody who was gifted a membership, please make sure you thank Ronan, Viking, and Ronan again, y'all. It's crazy. All I see is green and blue in the chat. So this is really awesome.
And I think the difference is people hear desert.
And we love you too, Jazz.
And they almost think that it's nothing but sand, and you could see So this is basically the brush. And as you walk further in,
yo, I'll match the next 10 memberships if anybody wants to. I'm just saying. Let me know.
These are called. This is the actual wash. These are the washes. We haven't walked too far.
Yo, look at this. This is crazy. Is this so? This is literally like a few feet away from the house. But look, if this is what you're dealing with, this is some crazy shit, yo. You can't see. And then imagine at night. I am never going to the desert again.
Go this way, and here I will show you.
Oh shoot!
If it's dark out here, or even now.
I messed up, y'all. I said that I was gonna match the next 10 gifted memberships, and I know Coco Mom is here, and she's a huge supporter of the channel. So that's 5. I gotta match 5. I gotta match 6 now. I definitely gotta match 6 of them. There's 5, Coco Mom. Thank you so much. If you guys received the gifted membership from Coco Mom and Jazzy, please make sure you guys thank them in the chat, y'all. Welcome to the inner circle. Yeah, I'd be afraid to get bit by a rattlesnake or 2 or 3, right?
Vehicles can walk.
Y'all are crazy today. What's going on? Hold on. Ronan just gifted 5 memberships. Y'all are going crazy. That is wild, y'all. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. That means I do have to match the 10. Should we do it now or should we do it later? Y'all tell me in the chat.
In this area.
Y'all tell me.
Now, this is called the wash. When it rains, you get water through here, of course, but they're dry.
Ronan making it rain. What is it, payday
you can walk
today?
through these areas and pull up behind some of these houses.
You could drive into some of these areas.
Hold
There's
on.
some areas where you'd be able to drive. It'd be more difficult, but you could definitely drive maybe like a quad.
Hey,
through
Coco
here.
Mom
There's a
just
house right
donated
there.
Cash App as well. Thank you so much, Coco Mom, for your $10 donation on Cash App. Felicia, what's going on here, y'all? Y'all are going crazy tonight. Y'all are making it rain. Felicia just donated 5 gifted memberships. Sorry if that's annoying. But David is way guilty. Amber, what's going on? Thank you for your 5 gifted memberships. You guys are on a roll tonight. What is going on? Whoa. Should y'all let me know? Should I do it now or should I do it later? Wow.
Continue walking.
Wow.
And you'll see there's a house there. You probably couldn't see it when we were in the brush, but you're going through all
damn,
this
it looks like I got a ton of gifted memberships that I gotta dish out tonight.
And literally, you wouldn't know. Okay.
Y'all are on fire tonight. Wowie Maui. Ash. Wowie Maui.
We can't see my truck.
But all jokes aside, you guys, thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. But you know what's really important today, right, is that we get Nancy Guthrie back home safe and sound. And you know, there's not really much that we can do but pray. And I really hope that the people who have her return her safely and alive. I think that's what's most important, right? That she comes home alive, she gets the medication that she needs. Because I can only imagine what they're feeling. D Lucky, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. Thank you.
There's a house there. There's a lot of space in between the houses. Everyone keeps asking me, "Oh, people have cameras. Can't they see the cars going by?" But this shows, like, there's all this brush.
There's no way you would be able to see with some of these cameras. You would not be able to.
We all do, right? And parts.
Where we are at right now, people can be walking up.
Thank
and
you,
down that
Felicia.
road,
Thank you.
Now imagine this at night, when it is completely dark, and there are no street There's no street lights out here. There's absolutely no street lights. So that just adds to how difficult it is. And if you do have some type of ring camera, and it's dark, and you have this, you're really not going to get much out of a ring camera.
So what is the deal? I keep hearing about this ordinance where it has to be dark out here. What is that?
So there's an ordinance that they have in areas of Pima County and the city of Tucson against light pollution. And I think it was more to attract people that want to come and see the stars. There's
that makes sense.
It has an astronomy program that also helps. However, I hate to Monday morning quarterback it, and I hate to tell other law enforcement how to do their job. But I've been in law enforcement for over 2 decades in the state of Arizona.
Ouch. He's telling y'all what's up.
If there is an ordinance in an area that you're working some type of crime, I find it really difficult to use an excuse of I didn't bring the lights out because there's a light pollution ordinance. I would have brought those lights out here, especially knowing the terrain. I would have brought the lights out here because it helps you find out what happened. If there's a criminal in the area, it's easier to find him. And above all, you're working.
Okay, so we just got a tweet. Brian Enton just put out a tweet 4 minutes ago that said 3 deputies just arrived at Annie Guthrie's house. Y'all, what is going on, y'all? Annie Guthrie just had 3 deputies arrived at the house. So you guys, I think we might be close to closing in. Y'all better get ready for this.
Against the clock.
Here, let me just make sure I show you guys the tweet so we can make sure, right? So right now, Brian Enton just stated that 3 deputies just arrived at Annie Guthrie's house. So I think y'all better keep me updated because we might find some breaking news in just a bit, y'all. But for now, let's get back to this video. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. We'll watch this for now. I'm going to keep Twitter open.
The quicker you get
or X, whatever.
The better. I would never not use lights out here based on the city ordinance, especially if a crime's been committed.
So did they not use lights because of that? Is that
So
what
that's
you
the
heard?
thing, yeah. So the sheriff came out, he did an interview, and he said that, you know,
Deputies are at the house. You know what they're yelling. Right? Uh-oh.
This particular area, there's that ordinance on light pollution, so that's why they didn't bring some lights out here.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
That's what happens when you're dealing with a lot of red tape sometimes, and the bureaucracy of you know, doing the police work and everything else that comes with it.
Brian Enton's got me refreshing Twitter like crazy.
I think if I'm in a leadership position with an agency and something like this occurs, I'm bringing flood.
Thank you so much, Amber. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Did you see the ransom note?
I have seen the ransom note. I have. I'm not going to get into specifics, and I don't want to get into specifics. Specifically because from a law enforcement side, I understand why they're not releasing it, why they're not getting to specifics, and I understand the urgency. I think this is important.
I keep laughing at that new emoji that we put up last night. If y'all know what new emoji I'm talking about, drop it in the chat.
Regardless of what's in the letter, in order to show that
guilty of crime. What's up, Jay? How's it going? What up? What up? You are here. It feels so nice to have you here. It feels so nice.
Would know in order to determine that they do have it, that it is.
Before I go help, how's it going?
And I don't want to ask you for specifics because I don't want to do anything to.
Right. That's
I don't want. That's the last thing I would ever want to do. Like, what's the point in that? I want them to find Nancy, but I am curious, just based on your background. Like, do you?
Yeah. There you go.
Legit.
I think it's legit.
Yeah, they're dropping the cash. Hey, he didn't show up, huh?
Questions should be asked of them if they're the real captors in order to verify it 100%.
Thank you, Chloe.
And since you're from here, I'm not from here. Like I said, I don't know anything about the sheriff. But just covering it this week, you know, he's had some mixed messaging.
Because he's a Florida boy.
There's been some weird moments. He's done a lot of interviews. What is his history? I mean, is he?
Well, he's been a sheriff for a long time, right? Obviously, I believe he lost one election and he came back and he won an election again. We're where we're at right now, you know, he's been in police work for a long time. But this is what I've always said, and I get criticized for it.
You guys, 5 gifted memberships on their way right now.
Law enforcement or having 20 years experience in law enforcement, and then there's guys that have 1 year experience 20 times in law enforcement. I don't want to criticize him and say he falls under that area, but when you have a crime of this nature, and the world is watching us right now, and other resources are being brought in, the FBI is being brought in. I know Border Patrol has been out here and helped.
We just dropped 5 gifted.
It's almost a skill set. You need to make sure you pick from the right skill set in order to get everything done. At the end, it's law enforcement. We all should.
Coco Mom, that's my 5, okay? I owe you guys 5 more in the chat, so y'all were just crazy tonight, and I appreciate all of you guys that supported the channel. This is wild, y'all.
Are on the same team. We should be on the same team. And the ultimate goal is to find Nancy, bring her home safe. And at the same time, we need to find out if there's any individual out there that is the cause of this, bring him to justice and make sure that he faces true consequences.
You know all about Mexico Border Patrol. I mean, we're what, 60 miles away?
We're very, very, very close.
Oh, my Lord, Coco Mom.
Get you there in, just
I truly hope she was not in the car. Oh, my God.
It's been said that she doesn't have medication, but because
Can you imagine that for 6 days that they've been looking for her, they did not check the car? Oh man, if she is actually in the car, that is so horrible. And this whole ransom bullshit is a fucking game. That trips me out.
Our proximity to the border, we don't know if somebody is involved, if they would have been able to get the medication from Mexico as well.
Or brought her in, could they bring her into Mexico?
Or bring her into Mexico, or even, you know, I'll be honest.
Are there ways to do that though, without being seen?
So there's areas obviously that are porous still within the border. Our border is more secure than it's ever been. We've all heard that, and it is true. But
Jed, I mean, you say that you're sure they checked the car, but why 6 days later are they towing it? Right? I mean, I'm just really curious, like, what was it that they found, or what new evidence they found that deemed it necessary for them to come back, what, 3 or 4 times already and tow away the car? This is crazy.
In Arizona, there's still porous areas where you could possibly head south, especially at nighttime. It'd be hard because you're driving through a lot of the city. That's another complex part of Tucson, is you have one major highway, which is I-10. And we're pretty far from I-10, so you have to drive across the city to get to that freeway, and then you'd have to get to the separate one further south to head into Mexico, unless you went off road, which this is what you'd be going through.
So I guess if she was in Mexico, they could get her the medicine she needs to stay alive pretty easily.
Honestly, if she was here, because of how close we are to Mexico, there's areas where you can purchase.
I really hope she wasn't either too, D-Lucky.
Some businesses will sell it, albeit under the table, and they won't let you know that they're selling it, but there's areas where they could probably purchase it within.
I wonder if anything came back on the cameras they sent out to see if they could pull anything from them.
If she was abducted, that's kind of a good thing in a way.
That's crazy.
It is. If she could get the medicine, that's a big thing. That's why it's very important that regardless of what's in that letter, the family needs those abductors, if it's legit, to communicate so they can make sure it's legitimate.
And just because you're so in the know, I mean, is there a lot, and you saw the letter, so you obviously have good connections. Is there a lot we don't know? I mean, because I keep thinking, is this letter and this whole ransom part of it just one possibility? Are there other possibilities they're looking into?
No, it's you got to find the validity. That's what it comes down to. We need to make sure that they need to make sure that it's a valid letter. The ultimate goal is to bring Nancy home safe.
Okay. And you live in this area, right?
I live.
Sorry, y'all. I know I'm behind on the chats.
There's been all sorts of talk about a white van, and I saw another neighbor telling me, oh, there's people around that like try to clean windows and seem shady. I mean, what is this neighborhood like? Have you seen shit? People aren't going to mess with you.
No, I mean, honestly,
they're onto something. They definitely have to be onto something, right?
Before I worked for the Border Patrol, I worked many years in a maximum security prison.
The son-in-law just might be. That's the part that makes me nervous.
Find out what neighborhoods they lived in, right? Just to see. And they would always say the same thing. We're not going to steal in the good neighborhood. We're not going to steal in the bad neighborhoods. We're not going to steal in our own neighborhoods. We're going to go to the good neighborhoods. So I think that is, an eye-opener for a lot of individuals, that it doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in.
Right, Viking woman, right.
And there's evil
out there. That part right there.
Doesn't really care whether you're right wing or left wing. They just care to.
Oh, really? There's a possibility that they might have used the car.
Prime example. It's a good neighborhood. People come out here because it's a good neighborhood. The houses out here are higher priced than other areas in Tucson, but here we are.
Have you had any problems?
I've never had problems.
No? Okay, that's good. Anything else that you think? I just feel like everybody's watching this story around the country. My friends who I haven't talked to in years are suddenly calling me, oh, what's the scoop? You know, I mean, it's got that sort of interest. Everybody feels terrible for Nancy, and people don't know that. I mean, you have the insight. Like, what else do you think people need to understand?
Look, I think they need to understand the area. That's a big deal. People need to understand that. Like, I came out here the first day after it had happened. I walked through all these desert areas. Like I said, there's a big wash on the other side, and I looked at different things. I would look at the vegetation. I would look at the rocks. You know, if rocks are disturbed, you know, something like that, you'd know somebody may have walked through there.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, Tambo.
You look at different footprints. You look at this. You know, if somebody brushes up against it, it might tear.
So Ash, is this confirmed? Because this is what I was hearing all day yesterday, right? That she actually attended church virtually. She never actually attended in person. So I have a lot of questions about that too. If that is legit.
Some of the fabric. So there's so much things that go into it to make sure what could have happened. It goes beyond, hey, check the ring cameras. Hey, ask the neighbors. There's all this that it makes it just so much more difficult to find the answers.
Were you surprised that they cleared the crime scene so quickly?
I was extremely surprised because they were there.
Son-in-law makes me nervous. Yep.
Sure. Obviously, the FBI came back and they taped it up. So I don't know if the FBI said, hey, we want to have a look, or the FBI said, hey, there's something else that maybe we need to pull out of there. But I am surprised that that they, stopped and they removed the tape so soon.
So the weather out there in Arizona is actually not that bad right now. Currently, it's about 61 degrees out there. It was a high of 76 and a low as 50. So it's okay, right? It's not freezing cold. It's not super hot. It's just about right. And it's mostly cloudy out there. So the weather's okay, right?
I'm surprised that there wasn't more lighting brought out here. There's just certain things that you just got to not worry about. And I think any ordinance, push that aside.
That's crazy.
What's important is to try to find the human.
And just lastly, is the Border Patrol still helping?
I'm not sure if the Border Patrol's are.
No, Ronan, I don't know if she was even taking a church, right? I mean, there's been so much confusion about like her transportation. Last I heard, she took an Uber to Annie's house, and then after she was brought home, right? So they drove her home. But the weird part is that every time they talk about her being dropped off at home, they never mention who actually took her home. But earlier reports, 2-3 days ago, I do remember they were saying the son-in-law was the last person to see her. Now I feel like because he's actually a suspect, I feel like they've told the media to stop using his name. I don't know. Has anybody noticed that? Y'all let me know if I'm tripping.
Because they were helping.
I know they were out here. Yeah, they were out here with searching in this area. I know they had Borstar and they had some of their canines. And so that's kind of like, I came out here the first day. I find out Borstar was here. I find out canines was here. If Borstar and Border Patrol canines are out here and they haven't been able to find anything, I would doubt that there's anything out here to find at this point. Because, like, aside from me having worked with Border Patrol,
wow, I didn't know that, Ash. Thank you.
Tracking, when it comes to finding individuals in this type of environment, they're the number one in the world.
All right, let's see. Brian Ente got an update. No update.
They are the best
for tracking.
For tracking, drugs, for tracking humans. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, they're trafficking drugs. No, they track. There's various different areas that they're.
No mention of the sun for days now, says Cindy.
Lost in the desert is one of them, and obviously finding somebody that has been taken.
Viking woman said, "I would think that the church is like a Zoom, almost like a chat."
As always, I really appreciate.
All right, what's the next one, y'all? What's the next one? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Let me see, because I think News Nation put out one that I wanted to check out. What are we watching? News Nation. Where did I put it? I think it's right here. Let me just type this in. My chair is just creaking like crazy. I need to get some WD-40.
Joining us now is best-selling author who has written some of the biggest thrillers on the planet. He spent much of his life inside the minds of countless villains. And
I think another 5 chats are, or 5 gifted memberships are on the way, y'all.
Which was turned into a major television
5 gifted memberships.
Jack, thank you so much for being here tonight. Sorry about the circumstances. You've seen many things play out.
All right, y'all, here we go. I got 5 gifted memberships
a lot of really bad guys
on the way.
What is your just initial reaction to the story that we've been seeing playing out over the last few days?
Let's go.
First, you're so heartbroken, and your heart goes out, of course, to the whole Guthrie family, and prayers are with all of them right now, and just praying.
There you go, you guys. Just gifted 5.
No. Brings to light some precautions that anyone in the public eye really needs to take, and we don't know much about what has happened with Nancy Guthrie yet. If it's, we just don't know.
All right, y'all. I was supposed to gift 5. But unfortunately, not fortunate, fortunately, whatever the case is, I accidentally clicked 10. So y'all got a 5 extra. 5. Yo, I got trigger happy, huh? I don't know what happened, but there were extra 5 gifted memberships in the chat. So if you guys got one, congratulations. Welcome to the inner circle. That was 5 more than I was supposed to. So hope y'all welcome.
Think as a public figure, what are some things that I can do where I'm not going to be paranoid, but things that heighten my awareness a little bit, some security measures, because nowadays we do a lot of the enemy's criminals work for them. Meaning if it was 1955, 65, 75, 85, 95.
No, definitely not payday, Viking. No. I got 4 more days for that.
When they're home, when they're not, what kind of security they have, what kind of locks, how do I get in? All of these different things they'd have to do physically. For the most part.
Okay, hold on. Let me see who was gifted. Let me see. Adelia. Oh, Misty got one. Okay, the kids. The Wicked Witch of the Midwest. Estrella's mom. What's that? Millie Rivera, Mom B, Fantastic, Flying Wordy. I see you, Flying Wordy. What's up? And then Emma Peel. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to the inner circle, y'all.
Have to follow you on social media channels. They can Architectural Digest video. And,
See, how many new members is that? That's crazy.
That sort of things. Approaches to the house. Where is it? All those things you can find out now just by following someone on social media. So for people in the public eye, I think it just highlights the fact that it's wise probably not to put your kids out there if you have kids, your parents, that sort of thing. Anything that's going to let a criminal or the enemy. Really
That's 43 new gifted memberships. That's crazy.
Target than somebody else who's out there. So
that's great advice. Yeah, as you know, and you spent some time in Arizona too, but I spent many years in Tucson. I graduated from the University of Arizona. Just for the audience, I want to pull up a map here just in terms of what we're dealing with. You know, this neighborhood
No way.
a part of North Tucson where
is that breaking? Is that breaking?
They're surrounded by a lot of brush, trees, cactus. Tucson is a dark sky city, so there's practically no street lighting. So when you're out at nighttime, you can't really see anything without a flashlight, including if there's not a full moon. What you're looking at on your map here is, you know, Tucson is very close to Mexico. Nogales is
from Rob Shooter
from the border, which of course is in Tucson, which is of course the border with Mexico. The Tohono O'odham.
Rob Shooter, the PR guru, huh? Put out an article regarding exclusive Savannah Guthrie family considers legal action. Let me see. We'll have to check that out though.
Local law enforcement doesn't have jurisdiction is also right there. And I think really interestingly, I-19 that goes to Nogales is there, but also you have I-10 that goes east and I-8 that goes west. And then you can hit I-10 to go all the way north. So this complicates things because Nancy was taken in the middle of the night and nobody really saw what happened. The cameras were taken. She could be in a different state, in a different country.
I just really hope it's not the actual son, right? And not the son-in-law. I'm just saying. Okay, I don't know.
Border Patrol is now involved. You know, a lot of these kidnappings usually happen and the people are very close by where they were taken from. But at this point, we still have no information about where she may be.
It's so sad. And also, I always think of things through the enemy's eyes. So what are other criminals learning from this? What are our enemies learning from this? What capabilities are they taking away from this? Like, what can the FBI do? What does local law enforcement do? Or can't they do now, more importantly, from the enemy's point of view? So it does highlight a lot of different security concerns that the enemy can then exploit going forward, getting around Ring doorbells, all that sort of a thing. But it also was something I thought about. I haven't heard too many people talk about this. It reminded me of the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's child back in 1932. They called it the crime
running
of the century.
so fast yet so slow.
It made kidnapping a federal crime, and that child was less than 2 years old when he was taken. So it does remind me a bit of something like that. But once again, we don't know much about this. But right now, whether it's criminal intent or someone's being radicalized online, manipulated online, maybe by an algorithm, whatever it might be. We have the Charlie Kirk example, of course. Salman Rushdie, over 30 years after writing satanic verses, he was stabbed in the hand, liver, and face, lost an eye, almost died. Over 30 years after writing the satanic verses and having that fatwa put against him. So.
Motivation could be anything, right? At this point, we don't
know.
Let me
roll it back.
Example, of course, Salman Rushdie, over 30 years after writing satanic verses, he was stabbed in the hand, liver, and face.
Hold on, let me just run it back a little bit.
The kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's child back in 1932. They called it the crime of the century back then. It actually led to made kidnapping a federal crime, and that child was less than 2 years old when he was taken. So it does remind me a bit of something like that. But once again, we don't know much about this. But right now, whether it's criminal intent or someone's being radicalized online, manipulated online, maybe by an algorithm, whatever it might be. We have the Charlie Kirk example, of course. Salman Rushdie, over 30 years after writing satanic verses, he was stabbed in the hand, liver, and face, lost an eye, almost died. Over 30 years after writing the satanic verses and having that fatwa put against him. So.
Well, that's a good question, Ash. I don't know if he.
Anything, right? At this point, we don't know what it could be, but like you said, there's so many ways that people can find you and get to you, and as you just mentioned, hold a grudge for many, many years. It might not even be something recent. We're seeing, you know, the authorities have been very limited in what they can tell us about these ransom notes. There was a deadline in one of them yesterday that passed, but another one was then given to a local TV station in Tucson today. There is obviously a timeline here. What does that do in terms of crunching law enforcement against whoever this may be with the tactics they're using of this threat of timing and meeting whatever demands there are without giving real indication of what Nancy's condition is.
Right, and it's one of those. I think it's one of those things where you have to play two sides of this. You have to be ready to pay this thing in the chance that we might get her returned.
Thank you. I just received it.
You have tactical.
Thank you, Viking.
Teams ready to go at a moment's notice if you get some sort of maybe electronic surveillance now or something, whatever it might be, some indication that someone is somewhere or has a connection to someone somewhere that can lead to those people that you're looking for, and in particular, Nancy.
One second, yeah, I'll be right back.
Both of those things are probably happening in parallel, I would guess.
Just real quickly, I want to get your response to BORTAC, which is the Special Forces, unit of Border Patrol, being involved here. What are the stakes now if there's a Mexico situation where she's been taken to another country? What that entails internationally.
I got to train with those guys on the border in California back when I was in the SEAL teams, and I learned so much about tracking from those guys. So professional, and they do it each and every day when it comes to tracking human beings, which is like the same thing as hunting. A lot of similarities, but now you're hunting people on two legs. So they're so good at it, and it seems like all federal, state, local law enforcement has been brought to bear on this. So, and I'm sure they're doing everything they possibly can.
All right. Well, Jack Carr, thank you so much for your time tonight, and more importantly, your expertise and tips about how people can stay safe. Thank you. Your new book, The Fourth Option, comes out in May, and we definitely do not want to miss it because all the rest have been amazing. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for...
Okay, shut up, Cuomo. All right, you guys, we got an article to read. Shout out to Viking Woman for sending that email. Take this with a grain of salt, okay? So, hold on. Let me bring this over here really quick. Close that out. Look, even the ads are telling me to buy a new mic. I don't know. All right, can you guys see this? Let's see. It says, Tommaso Cioni claims about bandmate Dominic Evans. And we talked about this last night, right? There were some rumors going around, obviously unconfirmed, so take it with a pinch of salt, that Dominic Evans used to be roommates with the guy who got arrested. That was a rumor that floated around yesterday, but I don't know if there's any truth to that. So it says, claims about bandmate Dominic Evans' power of attorney emerged in Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, has been... Okay, so Nancy Guthrie's disappearance has sparked interest in son-in-law Tommaso Cioni. The mother of today's show host, Savannah Guthrie, was reported missing on Sunday, and authority... Okay, let's just kind of skip to it. I'm just trying to read the stuff that we don't know, right? Okay, so it says here, Nancy Guthrie had dinner with Annie, who reportedly lives close to her home in Tucson, Arizona. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos told New York Times that Cioni dropped Guthrie home after dinner, right? So this is coming from the sheriff. Sheriff Chris Nanos reportedly told New York Times. Now, this guy, I have my feelings about this guy, and I want to pull up a video after this. Authorities believe that Guthrie was taken between Saturday night and Sunday morning. While there is a lot of social media interest in Cioni, given he was the last one to see her, Pima County Sheriff's Office has made it clear that they have not declared any suspects or persons of interest at this time. Authorities also explained that it was standard procedure to talk to people who might have had contact with Guthrie prior to her kidnapping and had hence spoken to Cioni. While investigators continue to search for Nancy Guthrie, several claims have made it clear about Cioni's band and an alleged power of attorney. Now, this is new, something that we haven't heard, right? At least I haven't. To be sure, these claims have come from unverified profiles. Let me see. A post on X claimed that Cioni had special durable power of attorney. This is crazy. Why does he have special durable power of attorney? So he's a DPOA, right? Meaning that he gets to make a lot of decisions if that's the case. Tommaso Cioni, the principal, signed my name to this power of attorney this day of May 16th, 2025, and being first duly sworn, do declare to the undersigned authority that I sign and execute this instrument as my power of attorney, and that I sign it willingly or willingly direct another to sign for me, that I execute it as my free and voluntary act for this purposes expressed in the power of attorney, and that I am 18 years of age or older, of sound mind, and under no constraint or undue influence. The alleged document read. Is that it? That is crazy, you guys. What? Okay. Claims about bandmate Dominic Evans' power of attorney. So who's saying that he has this? This is crazy. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We got some paperwork, y'all. Wow. Okay, so both of them, Tommaso and Annie, special durable power of attorney, y'all. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure that I share this in our Discord so we can take a look at it later. And I will catch up on the chats in just a second, y'all. Just a second. All right. Cops have to tell us stuff. Boycott Portland and Oregon. Wow. I wonder if they'll find anything in the vehicle that was towed away. Why would he have DPO away? That's a great question. But you know what? If that is the case, that would make a lot of sense, right? This is really, really weird. This is very, very odd. Very, very true. Okay, that makes more sense, as I thought the son-in-law was more in on it, not the SIS. Can you read that again? How did they get that information, and from who did they get that information? That's a great question, but here we see a document right here. I don't know who can verify this type of information, but it looks like official court docs. So state of Arizona, county of Pima. Let me see. Is there a way that we can just open this, open image in a new tab? Let me see if we just open image in a new tab. Jennifer Weschler. Whoever that is, that's the witness. My commission will expire April 1st, 2026. Okay. All right. Let me look this up really quick. Let's see here. Oh, look. That they can accept payment of a commission fee or other compensation in connection with the real property, accept payment of all or any portion of the proceeds from the sale or financing of the real property, execute any and all document necessary to complete the sale, purchase, and financing of the subject property described herein. Does that mean, were they trying to sell the house? What it... Oh, no. All right, y'all. Somebody's got to look into this. He appointed Annie his POA, not uncommon. Okay. POA done through notary or a lawyer. Cozy Gigi, what's up? How's it going? Welcome. Lorraine Williams, how's it going? Usually if one person has DPOA, the spouse is the second. Okay, so here. Special durable power of attorney. Special POA is called a limited POA when you add the durable tag. It means the power persists through incapacity, but the scope remains narrow. So an example of that would be giving someone the power only to sell a specific piece of property while you are traveling, authorizing someone only to manage your business's payroll, to delegate a specific job without giving someone total control over your entire life. Okay, so the difference between the special durable power of attorney and just a regular DPOA is that the special DPOA is very narrow and specific, right? Limited to what is written The incapacity stays in effect, and it's best for one-off transactions or not special, specific businesses. All right. I believe from what I read and understood that it was due to helping them buy their home. Annie and Tommaso, so they said. Good question. It's escrow paperwork for their home, I think. Okay. That would make sense. And they got the house for like $650K. That is a standard financial POA. Okay, okay. Thank you guys. See, y'all are so knowledgeable. I don't know shit about this stuff. I do not know. Hold on. POA seizes if she dies. It did with my dad. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, y'all. Do we have anything else new? What's new? What's new? Hold on. Okay. Let me find this one because there was one that I watched today and they were just grilling. They were going in. Let me find it. God, how much stuff did they did? Oh, is it this one? Hold on. This one was good. Yep. This is it. I think I watched this one this morning.
Family's devastated.
All right, y'all. I want you guys to pay attention to what they say.
It's quiet here outside Nancy Guthrie's house behind me. This is her house, but just about 10 minutes away at her daughter Annie Guthrie's house, which is.
All right, y'all. Let me turn on the fan real quick. I'll be right back.
They were actually out canvassing the neighborhood There were police going door to door, knocking on doors, trying to talk to people. So it's still very much an active investigation out here. In terms of the ransom notes, the first deadline has now passed. That one was at 5 p.m. We're told there was another deadline in the note, which is Monday. And as you heard Harvey Levin talking about, there are two things in the notes that the FBI has brought up as important. Number one, a reference to Nancy Guthrie's Apple Watch, and then also a reference to a floodlight on the outside of the house here. Timing is important, though. We don't know when they first received the ransom note. Could they have gathered some of this information from reporting that's been on the news and stuff on social media? We just don't know, Leland.
Stay with us there. We bring in Jodine Weber, Tony Braun. Thank you for joining us. Jodine, start with you. This idea that we are hearing from both Savannah Guthrie and now her brother of you need to contact us. What does that tell us that the FBI is telling the family about what they need to say?
I think they are providing the family with some very scripted language to utilize. Keep the lines of communication open. We want this person who has drafted this ransom letter to feel like they can contact you, that you are open, that you are receptive. And while you are establishing those lines of communication, keep establishing that your mother is a human and not an object. Use language that describes her as mom, mama, mommy, the things we heard them say last night. We want to know our mother is alive. Please provide proof of life. Just continue to reiterate that she is human, that she is cared for. Try to appeal to the emotions of the person that wrote the ransom letter.
Yeah, Toby, you can just imagine what the family is going through. As I was reading some of that script, I got chills listening to the son speak. I think every son puts themselves in that man's shoes. You could be talking about your mother. What has been stunning in this is some of the
Okay, really quick, I just want to provide you guys with an update from Brian Enton. 13 minutes ago, he said, or 38 minutes ago, he said 3 deputies just arrived at Annie Guthrie's house. And then 13 minutes ago, he said, and they left and didn't go inside. So that's the latest from Brian Enton.
Steps, shall we say, of the local sheriff's office and how disconnected.
Yes, Lorraine, this is definitely old, but I want you guys to just listen to what they talk about in regards to Sheriff Nanos, Christopher Nanos.
They seem to be from what is going on. For example, here is the sheriff talking today about seeing the plea that we all did from Savannah Guthrie. Take a listen.
Video last night went out. I didn't even know that was coming out, and somebody told me, and I went on. I think my wife went on Facebook and showed it to me.
Did you guys just hear what he said? Right, he mentioned that. So Sheriff Nanos had mentioned that he didn't even know that they made the video, and he's supposed to be the primary agency like overseeing this case.
Seeing the plea that we all did from Savannah Guthrie. Take a listen.
Video last night went out. I didn't even know that was coming out, and somebody told me.
He didn't even know that it was coming out, y'all.
And I went on. I think my wife went on Facebook and showed it to me.
He found out from his wife.
And somebody told me, and I went on. I think my wife went on Facebook and showed it to me. That family's devastated. And anybody who watches that video, I don't know how they can sit there and not say, my goodness, we need to get this lady back.
Toby, do we have any idea who's actually running this investigation?
Well, right now it's a joint investigation with the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Generally speaking, when the FBI gets involved, the
sounds
FBI
like it,
takes
right,
charge.
Deco?
However, it still appears that the sheriff is obviously very much involved in this investigation. He was the lead in the investigating agency on this, and they're still very much involved. And it seems like at this point it is a joint investigation. But once contact is made with any hostage takers, at that point the FBI will certainly take over.
Yeah, it was not perhaps reassuring at any point to hear what this sheriff had to say. And Brian, I think that's a good point to bring you back in on. Help us understand what Pima County is like. And is there discussion on the ground, or is there something we don't understand between this disconnect of a sheriff who gives an interview to absolutely everybody and is on TV 24/7 and yet seems to make so many mistakes and seems to have to walk back so much and yet knows so little?
How did the sheriff not know that Savannah Guthrie made that video? How is it his wife who told him that?
His wife's Facebook
I mean,
page.
I cannot get past that point. Yeah, the FBI was in the house helping her make the video, but the sheriff had no idea. That, to me, leaves me speechless. In terms of other issues that have happened here, you know, they took the crime scene tape down just a day afterwards, Leland, and then came back days later and put the crime scene tape back up.
Desert, how's it going?
Said, look, Monday morning quarterbacking, that was a mistake. I wish I had left the tape up. And I asked the question at the press conference today, who's in control now? Because today it felt very much more like the FBI had taken over. And the sheriff didn't really want to say. He said, I don't think of it like that. It's not about who's in control. We're working this together. But there have obviously been some missteps over the last couple of days.
Yeah, Jodine, a couple of the things that I think the FBI spoke to, and we're trying to, I think, figure out, or we are, and maybe the FBI also is, whether or not these ransom notes are actually from the people who kidnapped and took Mrs. Guthrie and still have her. This is the FBI on that issue of the Apple Watch itself that was written about in the note.
I don't have the specific time frame as I sit here today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down, could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what and following the leads on that.
That was in response to Brian Enton's question. So I guess, Jodine, my thought here, what is the FBI trying to tell the ransom note writers? They want to be showing respect, but without saying they believe them?
I think what they want to do is see, are they legit or not? Are they the people who actually have Nancy Guthrie? If not, they want to pursue possibly a separate crime of an imposter posing as a kidnapper.
That's right, Lorraine.
Because that's distracting from the number one mission, and that is to locate Nancy Guthrie and to arrest whoever did abduct her in the middle of the night. Certainly with the FBI on scene now, we've got the CAST team, we've got all the resources that the FBI brings. Certainly with more boots on the ground, we can do more thorough neighborhood canvasses, collect more videos, bring more technical analysis, possibly language services, equipment resources. There's all sorts
the amount of resources the FBI brings is just unbelievable here. This is from the FBI. I think it's interesting. You're getting sort of a dual message, right? You have the family speaking, we want our mom back, please contact us. And then the FBI putting the family out there. Here is the FBI talking directly to the kidnappers.
I think it's pretty clear the family wants to be contacted. They know time is of the essence. And if those that may have Nancy are watching this, the family is ready to talk, get proof of life, because there has been no contact after that ransom note went to the media.
Jodine, help us understand, why would the FBI sort of use the family, for lack of a better term, as a cutout rather than say, you have her, talk to us?
I think because they want to.
That's right, Goal. He didn't mention any names, right?
Law enforcement wants to talk to you. I think they feel that whoever this person is would feel more comfortable talking to the family and perhaps even make a mistake in that process, feeling less on guard.
Less threat, yeah. That makes sense. Brian, to you, where is this in the investigative process? And by that, I mean, you've been on how many countless of these major crime stories. Back when I was reporting and covering them, you would all of a sudden get these sort of alerts or moments where, okay, there was a suspicious car in a supermarket parking lot and everybody shows up and the FBI and all the evidence teams go and surround the car and search it and then everybody leaves. And that'll happen in an apartment building. Then it'll happen in a storage facility. A lot of them are false alarms, but they happen. Has there been any places with major law enforcement activity that they could possibly tell us where they are in the investigation?
No, not really. And I think that's one of the things that makes this so unique and so mysterious is that hasn't happened. I mean, we've obviously seen the police here at Nancy Guthrie's house.
I don't know,
We've
Jed.
seen the police at Annie Guthrie's
I think people would try to get away with it.
But beyond that, it's not like they've swarmed a warehouse or there's some other, event that's happened. And I, just back to what you were talking about, I'm not convinced that the FBI fully thinks that these ransom notes are legit, Leland. I think it's a possibility. But my sense is there are maybe 2 or 3 or 4 roads that they are going down right now, and that the ransom notes may just be one of them. And they obviously have to, look at everything. But they wouldn't rule out persons of interest today. They said they don't have any suspects. And then at one point the sheriff said that everybody's a suspect. So I think there's more that we don't know beyond just the ransom note happening behind the scenes.
Now, Toby, are we to believe that there's all this work going on and they know so much more than they are letting on, even though, as Brian points out, there's been no other locations that we know of searched? There's been no videotape released of a possible suspect or even a license plate. What does the lack of information from the police and the FBI tell us?
Well, at this
she
point,
did? She talked about that today?
Investigation like this, law enforcement is always going to be reluctant to release information to the public unless releasing that information to the public
That's right,
has
Tammy.
a direct benefit to them, i.e. releasing a photo and then asking the public for help of identifying that person in the photograph or a vehicle or somewhat of a description. So
you're right, Desert.
The fact that they're not releasing information tells us that there's nothing tangible right now that is,
especially in crimes that happen in California. Like, we know that the imposter, the ransom imposter, right? He was arrested yesterday and apparently he got out on bond. You guys hear about that?
Would be used to request public assistance, and that would really aid the public.
He got out.
Yeah, the one place that they would be looking for finding the public's help would be if there was videotape. And Brian, I'll let you end this here. This is a retirement community. These homes are all worth $1 million+ dollars. Ring doorbell cameras are something we all have.
Yeah, you're telling me, right?
Whether they've given videotape evidence to either the police or the FBI?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit.
So, yeah, I've talked to a lot of neighbors, and the detectives have been to all the neighbors' houses, but the issue is the houses are set far back off the road. They're on 1, 2, 3 acres of land. There's a ton of cactuses and brush in front. It's pitch black at night. There's no street lights. So it's not like a normal neighborhood where a Ring camera on a front door could see a car driving by. That's just not really the case here. So I don't think video in the neighborhood, from what I can tell, is going to be that helpful, Leland.
Thank you for watching.
All right. Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, right? This is before I hopped on stream. TMZ put out an article that said Nancy Guthrie abduction alleged. Okay, so earlier, the actual title to the article was a little bit different. Let me pull it up right now. So this is the article. It said Nancy Guthrie abduction, alleged Bitcoin texter gets bond. Now it said earlier today, before this article was posted, or before they changed it, it said that that he was granted bond, but now I guess it looks like he actually got it. It says a California man facing federal charges for allegedly texting Nancy Guthrie's family about the Bitcoin ransom. Let me just make this bigger. Where are we at? About the Bitcoin ransom payment has been granted. Oh, okay, so they haven't changed the wording here. Granted bond by a judge and may be out of federal custody in no time. Derek Kalala, 42-year-old man from Hawthorne, made his first court appearance Friday afternoon in U.S. District Court in Santa Ana. This is our guy right here, right? Judge Karen E. Scott ordered Kalala to be released on $20,000 bond. So what? He only had to pay so he had to pay $20,000 bond. And he's been ordered not to contact the alleged victims or witnesses. Federal prosecutors claim Kalala texted Nancy's daughter Anna and her son-in-law Tommaso Cioni, "Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction." The alleged texts were sent Wednesday after Today host Savannah Guthrie posted a video acknowledging the ransom letters that were sent to TMZ and 2 local outlets in Tucson, Arizona. To be clear, in the criminal complaint against Kalala, the feds say the text messages he allegedly sent Nancy's family have not been linked to the ransom demand. It's not clear if he's out of the joint yet, but Kalala is due back in court next Thursday for his arraignment. This is crazy, y'all. People get brave, right? People are getting brave. So let me pull up a few pictures of our perp, because we do have a few photos. This guy trips me out, yo. And this guy's from where? I forget who it was in the chat, but they were here last night and they were giving us a scoop on this Kalala guy. Who was it? Anyways, let me find these photos. Look at this guy. Yo, this guy is crazy. He looks so different. This was the very first photo that came out of him last night. JLR, I don't know how he found it, but JLR found this video or this photo and put it out. Did he get out on 20K or 10% of that 2K? So I'm assuming he had to pay $20,000, right? Because if his bail would have been $20,000, then he could have bonded out at 10%. So I don't know if he had to pay the whole 20K. Where is it at? Where does it say? Oh, right here. He was released. Ordered Kalala to be released on $20,000 bond, and he's been ordered to not contact the alleged victims or witnesses. Misty sharing God's blessing. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. If he had cash bond only, then he had to pay all of it. I guess we'll never know, right? And he loses it if he doesn't show up to court. Yikes. More than likely it was a percentage. That's weird, right? Because we know that Neo was held on $60,000 bail, or that's what his bail was set, and he bonded out. They didn't tell us how much the bond was, but all we know is that he bonded out. There's the Whoville mayor photo. Send it. Look at this guy. That's his DMV photo, you guys. Which one is it? This one right here? Damn. That's Jim Carrey's pigtails. Oh, well, this his hair is a little different because I kind of photoshopped it. So this is what his hair actually looked like. Not this. Security bond is usually 10% cash. Yikes. So I'm wondering, do you think he paid it? This guy's just got 10 grand to drop, or 2 grand to drop. 2 grand doesn't sound crazy. What a dork. That's even more breaking news to me, the bond and the amounts, right? Seriously, I never understand. I thought Neo paid out 6K on that 60. Well, whoops. All we know is that his bail was set to 60,000. And I mean, under the assumption, you know, because it's California, that he probably paid the 10%. So I think everybody just kind of ran with the 6,000 bond. But there's no confirmation on what he paid. Unless there is. I haven't seen anything though. Let's check. Brian Enton got anything posted? Nothing new. That's a great question. Why so low? Plus, bond amounts probably differ in counties and states. So was the son-in-law thinking that he might be involved? Not true. 2K is not a lot, but you can actually pay the money on a credit card too. Really? I didn't know that. But yeah, 2K is definitely not bad if you know, you want to avoid staying in jail. So here, let's bring this video back right over here. This is Brian Enton. Posted this video earlier today. Hold on, let me turn this up.
So they just towed the car. So we have this shot. Mo got this shot, and you can see.
That's weird. I don't know why the sound is doubled, but
Where's the tow truck? Is that SUV? Point to it right there. Point to it. Okay, you can see the SUV on it. So Mo had a closer look when it was there a second ago, and he says it's the same SUV that was in the garage, and you could tell that it was blue. Remember, Mo got this shot with his drone. So anyway, I know it's blurry, but that's the tow truck leaving. This is the scene out here right now. Everybody got moved back, and they closed the whole area off. I was showing you earlier, and FBI is still out there at Nancy Guthrie's house. We're all just kind of back here.
I'm back. I'm back. Damn. Let's see. I'm such a noob, such a rookie at this stuff. Sassy Kisses, welcome. Tara Michelle, how's it going? Yeah, I think I had it on mute for a second. All right, let me see. Do any of you guys like CLR Bruce Rivers, that attorney, that criminal lawyer? He just put out a video an hour ago. Kind of like watching his stuff. Do you guys? Let me know if you guys want to watch it. Let's watch this. I kind of want to watch this.
Cufflinks so graciously gifted to AskALawyer.com is an effective way for $49 that you can talk to a living.
We're not getting
so there
paid
you
for
go.
those ads.
So a few days ago, Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home, and we know this how. There's some real chilling facts here. First of all, there's blood inside and outside the home, and we'll show you photos of that. Secondly, we've got there's a Nest door cam. And there were other cameras in the house and outside the house that were smashed. Well, what does that tell you? That is foul fucking play, right? And how horrible for the Guthrie family. She's an 84-year-old woman, lost her husband when Savannah was in high school, I believe, and she never remarried. And it's just, by all accounts, this woman was inoffensive to anybody. But what do we know? So we know that there's blood inside and outside the home. That's disturbing. And during the press conference, they didn't say it was blood. And that's because it hasn't been tested. We don't know whose blood it is. Could that have been caused by the person smashing the camera? It absolutely could have. And here's the thing that makes this kind of more like an abduction or something like that. You've got a couple things going on. This happened roughly at 2 a.m. How do we know that? Well, she wore a pacemaker, and the pacemaker is connected to her iPhone. And when that separates, no longer gets a signal. And it's not like you can get a GPS signal from the pacemaker, but that's kind of a benchmark about when they think she left the house. So that's when because her phone was left there at the home. It is interesting that there's blood inside and outside the home. I could totally see somebody smashing their fingers or cutting themselves in trying to smash the glass that's on, these devices. And you wouldn't have these smashed by any other means than ill means, right? Is there any legitimate reason why somebody would smash these cameras? No, there isn't. So that's why we know there's some foul play involved. So we know that they smashed the cameras and came in about 2 a.m. And that's a problem. That's just those two facts right there. And in the area that she lived, the homes and the properties that they own are pretty large. The properties
Obsidian.
are kind of secluded.
What's up?
In other words, they're in a rural area, so they're not. There's no street lights, that kind of thing. Where do we go from here? You have a woman who's having trouble getting around. She probably uses a walker or a cane. 84 years old. That's pretty common. You have somebody that has health problems. She has medication that she's supposed to take, life-saving medication. I don't know if it's been reported that medication is still in the home. I don't know that a kidnapper would necessarily know or even give a shit to bring that with. And there has been a ransom note that was sent to TMZ, but in all honesty, I sort of discount that. So who's our suspect? Where do we turn from here? An 84-year-old woman to take them and take care of them and keep them alive is a fucking pain in the ass. It's not easy. Same with, like a disabled child. And I've been practicing law for almost 30 years. I've never once seen a kidnapping ransom case. This is not something that happens every day. And so where do you turn? Well, one of the things you turn to is the electronic data, first of all, and it's usually somebody close to the vest, somebody that knows them or has reason to know them or related to them, like the husband's always an issue. Well, her husband died a long time ago, so he's not an issue. So who else? Who was the last person to see her alive? Was it the brother-in-law? As you can see here, creepy looking dude. Who knows? And one of the things that they can do is, there's cell towers, her cell phone works right in there. They'll pull all the cell phones that were working on those towers at that time. And if you ping on the cell phone towers, it's suspicious if you turn your phone off, like in the Kroberger situation, and it's suspicious if you have it on. So it's like, but you're best off just to put it, leave it on and put it on some public transportation somewhere, like duct tape it under. Am I trying to tell you how to thwart the law? No. You look into the mind's eye of somebody who would try to abduct and do something with Nancy Guthrie. I mean, why would you do this? Is it a financial gain or is it a grudge? It's probably one or the other. I mean,
right, Goal?
She certainly isn't going to be sex trafficked.
I mean, the sheriff might not even know, right?
I mean, I don't mean that in a way like it sounds, but that seems unlikely, right? Unless it's some creepy dude who's like somebody that did their yard upkeep, or a handyman or a cleaner or somebody like that. You have to kind of keep all that stuff in mind. Now, one of the things, so even though you smash the camera, there's still going to be some data on that camera, because it's stored off site. It's in the cloud. It's not like, okay, I got rid of the camera, I got rid of the footage. My security stuff is right here on my phone.
I just had to.
And they left the phone there. So it would seem to me whoever approached the home should be seen on that camera. But whoever did approach knew enough to destroy the camera on the outside of the house and the other cameras that were around. So they knew that home, is my guess. They knew who they were going after. And how did they know that?
How many of you guys think this was an inside job? I'm very curious to know what you guys think. Who do you guys believe is behind all of this? Because I mean, at this point, I don't know if they're dealing with some professionals, some noobs. This is just wild, yo.
So the house has been processed and it's been given back to the family. And one of the things that the cops are doing is they're waiting for that Nest footage to get to them. That's going to be huge because you're going to see who approached that door. You're going to see that, I would think. But are they covered? Are they disguised? But you'll be able to tell, is that a man or a woman for sure. And this whole business of sending a ransom note to TMZ, that doesn't seem right to me.
I will say the letter begins by saying she is safe but scared.
I think so too, satire.
And they go on to say she knows exactly
wow,
what
a
the
lot of
demand
ones,
is.
huh?
Why would you send it to TMZ? That seems to me like some dude that's, hey, I know how we can get some money. Let's go send something to TMZ. I mean, why would you do that? And so you got one of two motives, really. Either personal and vindictive or, financial. So whoever is doing this either knows that Savannah's the daughter and that's her mom. And so there's a connection there, to get a payday, or it's somebody much closer. And money's not an issue. And it's just really kind of, fuck you, bitch, and I'm going to do this to you, which is just tragic. It's just absolutely tragic. It's just, that's the mindset of somebody that would go to the length of kidnapping somebody. I've had a couple kidnapping cases over my career. And
let me just remind you guys, okay? There was a rumor floating around last night. And let me just show you what one of those rumors were. So somebody sent me a screenshot of somebody's comments in a video, and this is what they had mentioned, right? It says here, now remember, take this with a grain of salt. It says, you may be interested to know that Derek Colella was once a roommate to Dominic Evans, a band member of Tommaso. Now, if there's a connection, if there really is a connection between Derek Colella and Tommaso, that is some wild shit, yo.
They're pretty rare. People don't generally kidnap people. I remember I used to drive an ambulance, I told you, for a living. And I was in felony court, and all of a sudden I see this guy behind glass. He was, in custody coming up. And it was a guy I used to drive an ambulance with. He was in a Target parking lot trying to get this lady, telling her he was law enforcement, to come into his car. He was going to abduct her. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you? And like this. You think you're all safe in your bed, and all of a sudden somebody comes and routes you out of your bed and takes you away.
That's right, Pika. His name did show up on that DPOA that we just shared, right? That one was crazy. That's crazy. So what is this connection with Dominic Evans and everybody else? Who is this Dominic Evans guy?
That should not happen. When you look at the facts, the FBI is involved, and you've got I'm sure, a profile analyst working the case. And you got the Pima County Sheriff, and they're getting a ton of leads, and they're not leaving anything off the table. But when you look at it, what have they offered? Like $2,500 for a reward? I thought that was just incredibly low. It's like,
so wait, did the family not know about the cameras on the rooftop? I forget who shared it. Said that she may have put them up there so she could watch the wildlife out there. So I don't know. He's a bandmate of the son-in-law, says Gigi. Ooh. Yeah, who attacks an old lady, right? I mean, what's more important is that we really have what, counting down on just about 2 days. The time is ticking, and we need to figure out where she is, right? Brian Enton mentioned that 3 deputies went to the house. Unfortunately, they left and didn't do anything. So, I don't know.
Okay, she's worth $40 million or something like that, and you're offering $2,500. I mean, she's not offering that.
Almost
I think that's
direct,
coming from
right?
the county, but that seems a little silly. Oh, $2,500? Make it $5,000 and I'll find out where she is. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So the motivation behind this kidnapping will kind of lead you to who did this, obviously. And so, I've seen a little bit of stuff on the brother-in-law who looks a little hippie-ish and tries to sell jewelry or whatever he does. And supposedly, and this is unconfirmed, but he was the last one to see her alive, right? These are whodunit type of things. This is why I like criminal law, because this is like, okay, now let's get down to the nitty gritty and figure out what happened here. And where do you start? You start in and you work out, right? And so they processed the home. That tells you there probably wasn't a whole lot of evidence in the home. Not a lot, nothing taken except for her. Nothing destroyed except for things that would identify the kidnapper, right? Blood inside and outside the home. As time goes by, as each hour clicks, as each day elongates into more uncertainty, the odds of her coming back safely diminish. And my heart just goes out to this family. I mean, what would you do if they took your mom? I mean, she took my fucking mom. What are you doing taking my mom? There's certain crimes I understand, like Michael Milken, insider trading and junk bonds and all this other stuff. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Michael Milken, that was back in the 80s. Shooting a guy because he's in bed with your wife. I mean, okay, I get it. Attacking somebody because they've attacked your family member. You can understand those types of crimes. But I don't understand stuff like this. It's so high risk. I mean, if this is financially motivated, it's so high risk. And here's the thing. They're not telling us hardly anything, from the sheriff's standpoint. Okay. And why aren't they telling us much? Because they don't want the person who has her or who took her to know what they know. Okay. So when you hear him answering questions of the press, he's not really volunteering a whole lot of information. And deservedly so, because if you do that, you may inadvertently tip off, and give some clues to the kidnapper. They'll get.
That's right, Obsidian. I mean, we do know that Savannah Guthrie, she makes what, $7 to $8 million annually. So, I mean, I would think that the money is all with her, right? I don't know if any of the other siblings have a ton of money, but I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. Oh yeah, I just gifted 5 memberships. So if you received a gifted membership, welcome. Oh, Melanie got one. Adele got one. Ashford, One True Whitney, and Zen Soul Studios. Let's go.
Get some ring information. They'll get some cell tower information. I think that's going to be your key. Because remember what happened with Brian Kohlberger? I mean, all of a sudden his phone's off in a certain period and then back on. And it was right during the murders. It's like you were supposed to be a PhD student in criminology and you couldn't get that right.
The ransom note that was sent out there, obviously
Okay, so I'm gonna pause on this video really quick, and I'm just gonna bring up another video. This is a video that Arizona Families 3 TV CBS 5 did. They streamed it about 2 hours ago, and I just kind of want to review the second ransom that they received today, because that one was just a little unclear. I know that we kind of watched a short video on it earlier, but I don't remember all of the details
which
regarding.
are unfolding today. I'm Jared Dillingham along with Morgan Lowe, and we're going to check in with our true crime correspondent Brianna Whitney and our Vanessa Ariza here in just a moment. They're live, continuing their reporting down in Tucson.
Yeah, the headline today is another communication, another note, electronic note from some.
Oh yeah, and for all of you new members, because it seems like we have about 40. I don't know. There are probably about like 50 new members that were gifted today. We do have a Discord. We do carry the conversation over there. If you guys want the link to the Discord, I do post it after the show so you guys can join. I really hope that you guys, would consider joining the Discord, because we do, I don't know, yesterday was just crazy with the conversations that we were having back and forth. So join us in the Discord, y'all. Welcome to the inner circle.
Somebody claiming to be the person who took
Fizz Gig.
Guthrie.
What's up, Australia?
Our sister station in Tucson got a copy of this.
Let me turn off the chat.
They did not reveal
really quick,
the contents of it. They turned it over to the Pima County Sheriff's Office or the FBI, who are analyzing it. But there are a couple of things that we can reveal about it. I think Brianna is going to get into the details about that, but that is a significant development today. What we can tell you is we still don't know where she is.
Right. And there's no proof of life in this letter that was
That's
sent,
right.
this
The one thing
email
that we did learn too is with that second ransom that did come in earlier today, that there was no proof of life. So I'm sure how disturbing that could be for the Guthrie family to receive. No, they didn't even receive it. I think it was the local news outlet that received it.
was sent as they try to still figure out if these notes that have been sent are real or if they are perhaps just a cruel hoax. Let's check in with our true crime correspondent, Brianna Whitney, live for us in Tucson to walk us through what we are able to reveal about this latest note that came into the family.
Yeah, and it's been in the last hour that we've learned we can reveal a little bit more. Jared, you mentioned it. There is no proof of life in this new note, but there's also no additional ransom demand, and there's also no way for the kidnapper to communicate with the Guthrie family. There was no way for the Guthries to reach back out. So those are three new details we're able to report at this hour, but it is exceptionally concerning when you know that we are still searching for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. This is day 6 of searching for her. We know she has medical needs, and of course, at this time, even if there are new alleged notes coming in, we still have no idea where Nancy is. I want to show you guys what the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI are saying tonight together about this new alleged note coming in. They wrote, quote, "The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. Investigators are actively inspecting the new information provided in the message for its authenticity." And I can tell you guys, I got off the phone with the FBI not too long ago. We knew from yesterday's press conference that the Sheriff's Department has done a lot of the crime scene investigation itself, receiving leads and following up on those. The FBI can provide a lot of behind-the-scenes help. We knew they were going through Nancy Guthrie's cell phone. We knew that they were looking for location data and conducting interviews. But a huge part of what the FBI has been working on has been the alleged ransom note that came in several days ago. That was kind of their lead. They are now taking the lead on this note, this second note that has come in as well. Earlier today, our sister station KOLD, the ones who received this note, were here at the Pima County Sheriff's Department right before we got here. Sheriff Nanos, Chris Nanos, was out here earlier, and as they were getting in...
All right, y'all. For all of the new members, if you guys want, I just posted the link to our Discord on our community wall. So if you guys see it, join it. Join it. And then when you get in, say hi.
In new information, they were able to ask him if he wanted to comment on it.
No, not at all. It's again given to the FBI. They've got this, and we'll let them go. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Whoa, hold on. Did they just take him away? What's going on here?
Again, given to the FBI. They've got this, and we'll let them go. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, this guy doesn't seem like he's going to be holding this position for a long time, right? I don't know. I'm just very skeptical about it.
So the sheriff not saying a whole lot about it tonight, except for that
I got it,
public statement
Pika.
the
Thank
two
you.
of them put out. And when I talked to the public information officer, the media correspondent here at the Pima County Sheriff's Department, they said that sheriff's not doing any other interviews about it tonight, and they will only hold a press conference if there is breaking news to report. So it kind of remains to be seen what they consider breaking news. Are they going to be able to report more that is in this alleged second note coming from the kidnapper or abductors of Nancy Guthrie, or are they waiting for something else? We know they're investigating out at the house. I know our Vanessa Ariza is going to get into that coming up here, but let's talk a little bit more about what we know in this note. We know it went to our sister station, KOLD. It was this morning.
Okay, really quick. I just got an email Peekaboo just shared Regarding the whole wildlife stuff, right? So, what I'm going to share with you is a photo, just a photo that Nancy does like the wildlife, right? So here, and so I have a photo of her posting up on Facebook. You know, she loves the wildlife. As you can see right here, she posted up something which is Annie's backyard, right? So Annie at least has cameras facing the backyard. So that's definitely something that we know, right? As you can see right here from this the screenshot of her Facebook. So I mean, is it but damn, the cameras that she had on her roof, could it be for the same thing? I think that's possible.
We are choosing not to release other details out of respect for the family and as this investigation continues. Now, like I said earlier, the new note did not contain any new additional ransom demands or a way for the Guthrie family to communicate with the sender of it. We sent the IP address where the note came from to law enforcement, and we have to note, it is not the same IP address as that first ransom note that came in, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their IP address. The new note also contains something the senders think will prove to investigators that they are the same people who sent the first note.
Wow. So, I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that either, though, right? Because there was that hoax or the imposter, that the original senders made sure that they included something on their second ransom note to prove that they were the real people, right? That they weren't no copycat. I'm just curious what it was that they would have shared to prove. I don't know. And then this was sent in via email?
That's what we can at least reveal at this hour about that second note. Of course, a very precarious situation because the Sheriff's Department, the FBI, they want tips to come in. They want people to weigh in, to bring anything to their attention that could possibly aid in this investigation. But they also have to be extremely careful here because, one, they don't want information to get out that could compromise their investigation. Two, we have no idea if any of these notes are legitimate. They had not figured that out. And that's one thing that I think is very interesting tonight. The deadlines, there was 2 of them on that first note. One of them was last night, 5 p.m. That has already passed. But the second deadline the FBI had told us
soon
was on Monday. So it is an interesting timeline now that we've received a alleged new note.
One said it was website form,
Friday,
like through a contact us form on their website.
From the first one. And this only complicates what the FBI is going to have to figure out on the legitimacy of all of these notes and whether they all come together potentially from the same sender. Outside here at the Pima County Sheriff's Department, Senator Mark Kelly was here as well. And he was able to also talk to media about this. You know, he calls Tucson home. He knows Savannah Guthrie personally. He's done many interviews with her, but he's also known her for many years. And he even commented earlier tonight that
Super Bowl is coming, Ronan. Are you ready?
You know, Savannah was reporting when Gabby Giffords, Mark's wife, was shot here in Tucson 15 years ago. And so there is a connection there between the two. And Senator Kelly explained to our cameras earlier tonight how he found out that Nancy Guthrie was missing.
Well, I first learned of it, before it was public. Savannah called me, because she knows I live here. And then I called the sheriff, and I called the Tucson police chief. So that was... that was mid-afternoon on Sunday, and Savannah was on the way to the airport to fly here, and obviously rather upset. So I've been doing whatever I can do.
All right, really quick. I do want to read this really quick because SF Investigates put out a tweet 3 hours ago, and it said this. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Found this interesting. So he said, I'm sure the FBI has already looked into this, but it's worth noting that Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker lost its Bluetooth connection at 2:28 on February 1st. About 2 hours later at 4:45, a small private jet departed Tucson for Puerto Vallarta. That's a very early departure on a Sunday morning. Yikes. And then... one further note, this plane is a 19-year-old Cessna Citation Mustang. It differs from most private jets because it's a very light jet that only holds 4 passengers and is rated to be flown with only 1 pilot instead of 2. Again, this is probably nothing, but because of the timing, it's worth noting. Ooh. Did you put that up in the Discord? Damn, I'm late. My bad, my bad, my bad. My bad. All right, let's get back to this.
And obviously the detectives working on this case, working round the clock, quite literally 24/7 on this. Mark Kelly was also asked about the investigation.
That's a great
itself.
question,
He says
Inspector,
he has full-
right? Why not send proof of life, especially if you want to get paid? Because I feel like at this point, the family's probably going to pay, right? Dubs is asking, realistically, what are the chances of her surviving without her medication? Well, it's what, day 6 and she hasn't had it? It's life sustaining medication or life saving medication, right? I'm just afraid that if she doesn't get her medication, she's at a higher risk for stroke, heart attack, you name it. And who knows what other kind of medication she's probably on, right? Maybe she could be on potential heart medications, blood pressure medications. So, oh yeah, peekaboo, right? And a flight without anticoagulants, you're literally asking for a blood clot, a DVT, a pulmonary embolism, one of those, right? And that just increases the risks for something like that to happen, like, tremendously.
Confidence in the team that's working on it. Take a listen.
The sheriff's been doing a great job. I was in contact with him last Sunday about this. He has hundreds of his deputies investigating this case, working 24/7, on this. If this case can be solved between the sheriff and the FBI, I've got tremendous confidence that they'll be able to figure this out and bring her home.
And again, I talked to the FBI earlier.
Yeah, Obsidian, what a great point, right? It's kind of odd. I mean, my parents are not old. They're only 54, but I have a key to their house. I know the code to unlock the front door. I know where every security camera is. Yeah, that's really weird, right? You'd assume, right, living only 10 minutes away, that they'd know where everything is too. And for them to smash the ring camera or whatever, the Nest camera, the one on the front and the back, and then the floodlight in the back, sounds, yeah, very, very sus. It's sus to me.
There today, they're part of all of this. They are part of this big investigation. They said that, they don't expect to release any more today, but they don't know, and they will keep everybody updated. The way that they're communicating most quickly with people is getting posts out on their social media pages, particularly Twitter or X and Facebook. That is how they are quickly communicating with the public as much as they can. But I think, just a sense of I've been here now most of the days this week, and I think what's so frustrating and heartbreaking to this whole situation as we go is it's like we're getting little breadcrumbs each day, something new. There might be a new note. We might learn a little bit more. Okay, we have a timeline now that we know. We have little bits and pieces, but not one new piece of information that we have learned has said anything more about where Nancy Guthrie is right now. And that is really difficult when you're talking about, okay, this is all great information, we're moving forward, but are we any closer to finding Nancy? And that is the troubling part of all of this tonight, you guys.
Yeah, Brianna, I've got a quick question for you. Earlier this week, the FBI was able to identify a copycat, figure out who that person was, and take them into custody, like, immediately. Do you think the fact that they have not been able to trace these communications back is any kind of indication that this might be a more sophisticated operator, the person or persons who sent these communications?
I mean, I definitely believe so. I think the arrest that they were able to make of that California man who put out that imposter ransom note just goes to show they have the means and resources to be able to track down things very quickly. But I think whoever is sending these has sent them through this encrypted server where you cannot trace this IP address back and cannot trace exactly where it's coming from. So whoever is sending these, whether they are the abductor of Nancy Guthrie or not, knows what they are doing, and it's exceptionally troubling either way. It's either the person who...
Yeah, they have not mentioned anything about the driver. We read an article, right? Because there was some confusion in the chat, including myself, about, you know, who drove who took the Uber where. Did she even go to church physically? Was she, you know, attending church online? But the articles early on, right, on day 2, day 3, had mentioned clearly that the son-in-law was the one who took them home, and he was the last one to see it. And now they don't even mention it. They just say she was dropped off at home. So I'm very curious if law enforcement and maybe the FBI, right, they're telling media not to mention who drove her home because that person is being looked at as a suspect. I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm tripping.
Did this to Nancy, or it's a person who has a sick hoax that they are doing among all of this for some awful reason. So neither answer is good, but I think now the big question that's left for investigators, one, prove this authenticity, whether it is or isn't, but two, what do you do now? Even if you prove it's authentic, there's no way to communicate with the sender. There's no additional request. There was no proof of life. Where do you go from here with those? And is it just, we just keep searching for her? I mean, I know they're back at the house tonight and trying to find new evidence, or at least, you know, re-go over everything.
You're right, Obsidian. They did say that Annie and Tommaso earlier on, right? Maybe like day 2, day 3, they were saying that. And then the next day it was just the son and or the son-in-law, Tommaso, was the last person to see him. But now, I don't know. They are zip zilch nada. We're not getting anything about him. They don't even bring his name up.
Did they miss anything? They don't want to leave any stone unturned. But at the end of the day, we just don't seem any closer, and the mystery continues to deepen, especially with this newest note. My wonder now is, what is the Guthrie family going to do next? Are they going to release a video statement about this new note? Are they going to stay quiet? I know they are obviously working with investigators, so what will their next move be? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, it seems like they're taking a lot of advice from the FBI.
So remember, Inspector, was there no forced entry? She opened the door at 2 a.m. If she did, she had to have known the person or people at the door. Now, this is not confirmed, but remember, Ashley Banfield is standing 10 toes down. She's double downing, triple downing, and calling her source impeccable, right? She's saying that the back door was left wide open. Now, I don't know how it is in Arizona or in Tucson, you know, how neighbors feel super comfortable just leaving their houses unlocked. But if that back door was open, if it was wide open, I don't know. That just tells me that this is calculated, right? I mean, they knew where she was. They dropped her off at 9:30, 9:40. You know, I still can't help but wonder if that person was already inside the house by the time she was dropped off and just waited for her to like fall asleep or something. So then that way it would be easier to try to abduct her. And maybe when she woke up, she put up a fight. And that's why, you know, she was found bleeding. Or not found, but that's why there was blood noted.
Which is eager to offer it to them. God, what a week they've had. Brianna, you mentioned no verification of the ransom note. There's no person of interest. There's no suspect. There's
You're
no
wild, Sydney.
videos that we know of. They're up against so many challenges in terms of evidence in the investigation. Where does it go? Is this going to have to hinge on digital evidence or perhaps some piece of DNA? Because they said the one test that came back was the blood test, which tested positive for Nancy on the front porch. Were they, do you know, able to extract anything else from that home? Or are tests, DNA tests, still underway?
Yeah, I think the answer to your question is possibly both. You know, they're working on surveillance video. We know earlier tonight that there were investigators up on Nancy Guthrie's roof. Perhaps they found something up there that could help lead to something. I don't know if there's other recording devices, but clearly they're up there investigating for a reason. You have to hope that they'll be able to retrieve some of the video. I know they put out yesterday.
Can somebody tell me what the gun laws are in Arizona? Is that like an open carry state? I feel like they'd be like an open carry state. I don't know. Anybody know what the gun laws are out there?
That she didn't have a subscription service for her Google Nest. That was that camera on the front of the door that's no longer there. And so that didn't save video. You have to hope that these companies are able to retrieve things somehow, especially in an investigation like this. But also, yeah, the old school evidence.
So Arizona is an open carry
DNA,
state.
You send it to the lab and you get the results back. I mean, that could definitely still yield something. We know that they rush ordered that blood that was on the front porch. It came back positive.
Ooh, Viking, that's a great question. I'm confused. Did she have dinner with just Annie? Now, there are reports that that Nancy took an Uber to Annie's house. Right? So okay. So Arizona is open carry. But there were reports that said that Nancy took an Uber to Annie's house. They went to dinner, and then after dinner, Tommaso brought her home. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Positive to Nancy. And it's an interesting piece of evidence because, it was significant in terms of you look at it, you know it's blood. Immediately when I saw it with my own eyes, I knew that was blood. And you're like, okay, that shouldn't be there. But it wasn't an overwhelming amount where somebody
totally
would
possible.
have bled out. And so I think they were trying to figure out there, what did happen on that front porch. We know
Really,
Nancy
Kelly?
bled in some way, but how? Was that from being hit? Was that from something, different? We don't know that answer. We just know that somehow she was injured and bleeding and on that front porch.
That's another great point too, Misty. I wonder why they didn't just come pick her up. That's kind of weird, right? Especially knowing that, she's got mobility issues. Why would you make her get up, hop on her little walker or whatever she uses, wheelchair, right? Hop in some Uber and then go to her house? That sounds so inconvenient for children to make their parents come to them, especially if they're going to take them out to dinner. I don't know. Am I just tripping? Like if I just told Mama Flo, nah, Mama Flo, just you come to my house, take an Uber, and then we'll figure it out from there. Like that wouldn't make me tripping. I don't know.
But they also sent other things to the DNA lab up in Phoenix. And that was also part of this. Their rapid DNA lab in Tucson was broken. The sheriff told me that early in this week. And so they sent that up to Phoenix. But it was the blood that was rapid ordered. That came back. And that, I guess, proved
Just read a
conclusive
book,
for Nancy, but
Obsidian.
nobody else. You have to imagine they have other pieces of evidence, other items that are being DNA tested up in the lab right now. Those could take
that's a great
several
point, Goal. Who knows if she's just like over exaggerating, right? I wonder what it means when she said wide open as in the door was unlocked, or wide open as in literally open, any stray animal could walk in. Yeah, it doesn't sound safe to me, right?
more days to come back. And so I think we're waiting on that. We also know they took out new evidence as recently as Wednesday. We'll see what happens today now that they're back
Very
out there.
weird.
But you have to imagine that those pieces, new pieces of evidence, are also being tested in some
That's
form
right.
or
Her
fashion.
birthday was
And
what,
that could-
January 26th, January 27th. So she literally just turned 84. Or are they taking her out for a late birthday gift or a birthday dinner? I don't know.
come back as early as this weekend or sometime next week.
Yeah, that's one of the things I just cannot wrap my head around is why, if indeed someone did abduct this 84-year-old woman for ransom, why is she bleeding? Why is she injured? Why didn't they take her? Why was she hurt and bleeding on the front porch? It's one of the
Tammy,
so
yeah,
many
give an
things
ass
that just
side-eye.
does not make sense in this case. All right, Brianna, stick
Give him
around. We
this
have a
look
couple
right
more
here.
questions for you about a couple other issues here in just a moment. After this break, we're
Like
going to head
you-
over to the Pima County Sheriff's Office.
You want me to go to your house? That's the look that I'd give you. That's the look that I'd give them.
over to the Guthrie home, which is where Vanessa Ariza is standing by. We'll be right back. Interest in this ongoing mystery, this mysterious disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who authorities believe was abducted out of her home in Tucson, in kind of a rural community just on the city's north side, 1 week ago Saturday.
Yeah, so we are going to head back out to the Tucson area, to the Catalina foothills, where our
I love that
Vanessa
emoji, yeah.
Ariza has spent the day out in front of Nancy Guthrie's home in that neighborhood. Vanessa, what did you see out there today, and what's the mood tonight?
Yes, good evening to you guys. You know, throughout the day, we have seen residents coming and going, walking their dogs in this area. And if it weren't for the media and the vehicles from the media that were here, this would be like any other Friday afternoon. Clearly, that is far from the truth. But as it stands now, as the sun has set, some of the media has left. But sheriff's deputies, they remain here, blocking part of the road that leads to Nancy Guthrie's home. As this investigation started about a week ago, news crews were able to get very close to the home, at some points walking on the front
Inspector,
door
that's a
after
great point.
investigators had cleared the home.
I know somebody had mentioned earlier that there's a possibility that they could have sent the ransom from her laptop. It's all speculation, but I don't know.
And the area, and allowed people to get closer. But as you see now, this is as far as we can get. And where we're standing right now, it is about a 3-minute walk to Nancy Guthrie's home. I want to give you another view that one of our drones was able to catch earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, shout out to Rabbit. Shout out to Obsidian. Shout out to Strategic Guys. Y'all are some really dope content creators. So shout out to y'all.
As investigators are now back at the scene here, investigators were seen on top of the roof, kind of searching in the backyard around the pool area. It's unknown what they are searching for, but it is very important to note that they did clear her home earlier this week, only to be back there once again this afternoon. So it's a lot of questions still being raised right now as far as what are they looking for and why did they deem it necessary to go back out to that home. Now, the sheriff's office and Sheriff Cristianos did not hold a press conference today. The last one where we heard from him, as well as the FBI special agent from the Phoenix area, was during yesterday's press conference. And it was during that press conference that Sheriff Nanos was asked, why did you clear the home only to go back there? And he had stated, hey, look, we got the FBI. They are coming in and they wanted to take another look at this scene. He was also asked, are you fearful and are you in a sense playing Monday morning quarterback that you possibly cleared that home too soon? And he said, possibly. You never know. But we are trying to get as much of any extra information that we can in this case. As you said, Jared, this is a very high profile case. So many eyes that are on it right now.
Yeah, Vanessa, I've got a quick question for you. We've learned that the FBI and the sheriff's deputies are going to be back out in that neighborhood, combing the desert area, combing the neighborhood over the weekend. I am assuming that if Nancy Guthrie was out there, is out there, they would have found her. What else could they be looking for by going door to door, by looking on the ground and sending their deputies and agents out there this weekend?
Sure. I think that there's this old adage, I don't want to speak for them clearly, but I would imagine that there's this old adage that, you know, maybe we missed something. Maybe we didn't see something that we did prior, or maybe there are residents whose homes they are going to where the person who's living there said, oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. And I should have told you this. And I say that because we heard from Senator Mark Kelly earlier today, who's reiterating what authorities, law enforcement have been saying for the past 6 days. No detail is too soon.
Wait, Sid, your birthday is in February? I didn't know that. What's today? The 6th? Oh, dear Lord, we got 9 days before mine. Oh, Lord. That's going to be wild. That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun one.
So perhaps.
Okay, I got a question for you guys, right? So when it comes to the ransom notes, right? We know that they've gotten one, went out to 3 outlets, right? We know that there was a second one, but that turned out to be a hoax. That one was fake. My question to you guys, and help me understand, right? So why is it up to the family if they want to pay the ransom? Doesn't the FBI usually do that kind of stuff? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've never heard of like the family having to decide. I always, maybe this is just in the movies, right? Maybe I just watch too many movies. But isn't it the law enforcement agencies that normally like fork up the cash and then they solve everything right after? I probably just watched too many movies.
There's no harm in going back to the homes and going back towards the path that law enforcement has already gone over to say, hey, maybe we did.
Yeah, Tammy, of course we're going to have a Discord party. We'll have a Discord party. We'll probably do a live. I don't know what we'll do, but I don't know. I'll let you guys decide what we do.
Missed something. Maybe there is something that a resident saw, but they didn't think to tell us until now. And it goes back to that old adage, if you see something, say something. You know, it is cliche, but it is cliche for a reason. And that is so much hope that is out there that there are new keys and developments to this case.
Vanessa, just really quickly, I know there's a lot of desert brush between your position and the Guthrie home behind you, but were you able to see anything in there? Like, was there a helicopter above? Were there canines in there? Were they searching the desert areas around the homes? Or were they going door to door knocking today? What were you able to see, if anything?
So not much, unfortunately, because they do have us pushed back. I know it's only a 3-minute walk back to Nancy Guthrie's home, but because of the terrain out here, you can't really see much. I did climb
Let's go,
up
preacher.
one
you got
of
my
the
ticket?
hill areas here just a little bit, and really all you could really see in the distance were deputies and law enforcement agents who were talking amongst themselves. We did not see any choppers up in the air. We did see drones. There were 3 drones from different various media outlets out here, and from the few vehicles, I would say only a handful of what appeared to be law enforcement vehicles coming and going here. Did not see any canines there, did not see any deputies who were walking out this area. So nothing really that kind of stood out other than the typical scenes that we usually see during investigations when the media is out here.
Right, and you said it earlier, without those flashing lights behind you, you could see it's just pitch black in that Catalina Foothills neighborhood, which I think is one of the perks of living in such a beautiful place. You don't have city light pollution, but that is one of the challenges
family
they're
pays
up
the ransom.
against
That's
in
why
this
kidnappers
investigation. Vanessa
kidnap.
Ariza live for us tonight on the north side of Tucson. Stay with us.
Makes
We're going to
sense,
head
Inspector.
back over to the Pima
You got
County
me
Sheriff's
there.
Office after this.
Welcome back to the special True Crime Arizona stream. We are talking about the search for Nancy Guthrie. We're going to send it back down to the Pima County Sheriff's Department in Tucson, where Brianna Whitney, our true crime correspondent, is. Brianna, I know you've spoken to a lot of experts when it comes to finding people and dealing with these sort of hostage negotiation situations. We know that there was a deadline for a ransom allegedly yesterday, and potentially another one on Monday. How critical is it right now, the next couple of days, what's going on behind the scenes to try to see if there's any way to get Nancy back that way, to try to make sure that that goes well?
Well, I mean, I think when I was talking to FBI Supervisory Special Agent Lance Lysing last night, and he's really familiar with this, he said, you know, obviously time is of the essence.
I heard something earlier too that law enforcement was going around to all the neighbors who had Teslas, and they were asking the Tesla owners for footage. I think I was watching News Nation earlier today. They were talking about like going out to all the Tesla owners. Did anybody see this, or is it just me?
Essence, but he found it so bizarre that the first ransom note or alleged ransom note had 2 different deadlines. That is odd. And so what the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department needs to do in these coming days, and I'm certain they're doing this, but what for our public viewership standpoint, what is likely happening and what they need to do behind the scenes is they need to figure out if these notes are even legit. And I think until we get to that point, that's kind of a priority in this, because if they are legit, they need to be paying close attention to the details that are in these notes to try to find any clues as to where they could possibly locate Nancy Guthrie. And I think that once they are able to rule in or out whether these are credible, that's going to really determine what happens in this investigation next. My thought process is that by Monday, evening, they should know whether or not these are credible. And that's coming straight from the FBI, because when I asked the FBI special agent in charge about this yesterday, he said, because my question was, how do you deem whether these are credible? Like, at what point do you stop and say, these aren't true. These aren't factual. These aren't credible. And he said they're working off of those deadlines. We know this new note today did not have an additional ransom deadline. It had no proof of life, and it had no way for the Guthrie family to communicate with the sender. So they have to still be operating off of those 2 deadlines in the first note as well. 5 p.m. yesterday, that's
Soul Power says, but can a Tesla take footage in the pitch black darkness? I doubt those cameras will be helpful. I don't know. I mean, they got what is it called? They got those whoopee cushion farts that you can play on the PA. So I mean, shit, they don't have a night vision. I don't know. Tesla needs to step it up then if they don't.
done. Monday, we now need to find out. We don't know exactly what time that deadline is, but assumably if that passes and there's no other contact with the sender and there's no additional details as to where Nancy Guthrie is, then they have to then determine if these are legit or not and where they go next in the investigation. I believe that they are searching for more evidence as well. I mean, we can tell they're back at that house. They are combing through that multiple different days after they had processed that scene and told us they were done with it. So clearly they're still looking for a lot of other evidence that could particularly lead to some other lead outside of just these notes. But I think in the next couple days, it's crucial to figure out, you know, are these true? Are these legit? And how much credence do you put into those in terms of where you could possibly find Nancy Guthrie? I think from the media standpoint and from the public standpoint, we should learn more by Monday evening, knowing that that ransom note originally had that as the second and final deadline that we know of.
I've just been trying to compare this to anything else. This is so unusual, Brianna, and the only things I can compare it to that I could think of is the case in Phoenix, the two young high school students who were killed while they were camping up toward Payson last year. That was a mystery for so long, and eventually some cell phone technology and witness interviews led to the suspect there. And Brianna, the other case I could think of is Elizabeth Smart, who I know you recently interviewed, and she vanished for, I think, 9 months before she was found safe. This is so unusual, I can't think of anything else to even compare it to.
The only other thing that I can think of would be JonBenet Ramsey. There was that alleged ransom note that was left on the stairs and in the house. Of course, she wasn't abducted. They found her body in the...
Sydney, you have an old Kia? Nobody's like, nobody's taking your car? No Kia boys rolling up on you?
home, but I mean, that's the only other time that I can think of a ransom note like this where they're trying to figure out if it's credible or not. And that case is still unsolved and they never figured it out. So yeah, it is very disheartening. Elizabeth Smart, and we just talked to her a couple months ago. I mean, she's so lucky that she was able to be found
You're not the only
alive.
one, Tammy.
But yeah, I mean, that's another abduction. And I also feel like too, when we're talking abductions, I think people's minds typically go to children. Like children being taken, Amber Alerts, abduction, kidnapping. I mean, kid is in that title. So I don't think people think that an 84-year-old woman is going to be abducted and held for ransom. I mean, that is just completely outside the realm of things that we typically deal with in this business. And my God, we have seen so much in this business, in crime and everything like that. And it can be really tough. This has to be one of, if not the most bizarre case that I have ever seen.
It's so weird too, right? To think about the car that they just towed. Where's that video? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This one right over here, right? They said that they towed it.
Towed the car. So we have this shot. Mo got this shot, and you can see. Where's the tow truck? Is that SUV? Point to it right there. Point to it.
Oh, here it is, right here. You can see the car.
Mo had a closer look when it was there a second ago, and he says it's the same SUV that was in the garage, and you could tell that it was blue. Remember, Mo got this shot with his drone. So anyway, I know it's blurry, but that's the tow truck leaving.
Why in the world would they tow her car? This makes me believe that they think that the person... I'm trying to gather my thoughts right now. Why in the world would they take her car 6 days later if any of the evidence that they reviewed didn't show that there was a need to take it, right? Again, like, they had to have looked at the car, right? I'm thinking that they would have looked at the car beforehand. They would have checked to make sure that she wasn't in it. That I don't know. I don't know.
This is the scene out here right now.
These are really nice cameras.
Everybody got moved back.
All right, we're gonna have to start a fund for one of these cameras, y'all.
And they closed the whole area off.
So we can be right there with them.
And FBI is still out there at Nancy Guthries' house. We're all just kind of back here.
That's crazy. Where were we at? Where were we? I just lost my place. Uh-oh. Where are we at? Okay, we're right here. We'll finish this one.
Brianna, I know the family didn't get what they wanted with this last communication, which is they didn't get proof of life.
I hope
they
not,
didn't
Misty.
get a
I hope that's
way
not
to
true, though.
communicate with these
I hope they
alleged
have enough
kidnappers.
to figure
is
it out, because
important to
time's
point out-
ticking, right? They only have, what, 2 more days now at this point? They don't have much time.
Out that every communication that they get from somebody who might have done this is a new opportunity for investigators to trace that communication. So it might have seemed like this was bad news today because they didn't get what they wanted, but it is an opportunity.
It's something else to go off of, and I think we now wait to find out what the Guthrie family is going to do next. Are they going to release a statement?
Yeah.
Are they going to release a new video? And that's something that we'll be paying attention to.
Yeah, Cameron Guthrie in that statement last night said, "We want to talk to you. We are waiting for contact." They got that contact today, though it's extremely unsatisfying, to say the least. Gosh, well, Nancy Guthrie last seen alive, 9:48 p.m. last Saturday. Here we are a week into this, and still so many unknowns. Stay with Arizona's family. You could sign up to get push alerts sent to your phone if you have our AZ Family News app. We will send out alerts as soon as we hear anything from the FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and as soon as they hold their next live briefing, we'll be sure to let you know.
All right. I want to watch one last video, and that's the one that TMZ did earlier with Harvey Levin, because I didn't understand anything that he was talking about. So let's just watch this one last time, and we'll probably call it a night. And then, any updates that come out, we'll probably hop on tomorrow.
It piqued my interest from the beginning. And I believe now that there is a way of connecting the dots, and that law enforcement has an area that they are most interested in terms of where Nancy might be if this letter.
Thank you,
is
Art Deco.
legit.
Have a good night. Thank you,
And I
thank you,
say
thank
it for
you.
this reason, that obviously the person who took Nancy, if this is the person who wrote this ransom letter, they're demanding money. And if they get the money, they're saying they will return her. That's obvious, right? Well, in the letter, it says they would return her back to Tucson. So they also give a time frame of how long it would take after they received the money to return her to Tucson. So there's a time frame. Now, if you look at the time frame, then you say, well, you can draw a circle around Tucson to see how long maximum it would take to get her back there. And they're not going to fly her back, because the last thing they're going to do is go to an airport where Nancy Guthrie shows ID. That's not going to happen. So clearly it would be driving. And they're not going to drive at 100 miles an hour because if they get stopped for speeding, it's over.
He's going like
They're going to
literally.
go around the speed limit. So let's say that if this letter is legit, they would travel at about 60 miles an hour. So based on this time frame in the letter,
I don't know if I like
and the
this.
fact that she would be returned back to Tucson, here's the way it looks. If you look, this is Tucson right here. If you look at this red circle, that is the radius of the maximum amount of time it would take to get her back to Tucson, all around this circle. It incorporates
Always,
California,
right, Misty? Always looks
Nevada,
tired.
Utah, Idaho. It incorporates
Felicia, you're still here?
Colorado, Wyoming, a little bit of Kansas, and a little bit of Oklahoma. Now, that's a big area for sure, but it is not the full United States. It's not the world. At least it's a defined area. And again, if the letter is legitimate, then it would seem, based on the amount of time maximum it would take to bring her back to Tucson, it's this area.
A vacation or a
I would
retirement?
think authorities are most interested in. And remember, they are looking for anybody who possibly has information on the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie. So there's a $50,000
I don't
reward
know,
for
but
information leading to her
Professor
return.
Harvey.
So I would think that this area is particularly interesting to them. Want to say a couple of
Retirement.
other things.
Okay.
The
That's what I thought.
letter, people have been
So
asking.
kidnapper said, send the money and in 4 hours we'll drop her off. Why not just say, pay up and we'll let you know where we dropped her off at. You can pick her up yourself. Damn, Inspector, you got a point, right? We dropped her off at the McDonald's right there on Grand Avenue.
Does it seem like it's written by just a crazy person? And the answer is no. This letter was very well constructed. It had structure. It had a beginning, middle, and end. It was well done. I mean, if you took this letter to an English teacher and said, give me notes on structure, on grammar.
Thanks, C2. We'll figure
probably
this
would get
out.
no notes back. It's done by somebody, I believe, who is educated and really spent time. This was not something that took 5 minutes to write. This was a well-constructed letter. Final thing I want to say, and now this is opinion, that it is interesting to me that we got this ransom letter, but also the other two media outlets that got the ransom letters were both located in Tucson. They were television stations in Tucson. So why would somebody who wrote a letter like this know about the local stations and send to the local stations if they have no connection to Tucson? It feels like there is a connection to Tucson with the person who wrote this letter. And, a lot of people are saying, well, it happened because Savannah Guthrie is rich and famous, which she is. But is it that somebody looked at Savannah Guthrie and said, let's find a relative? Or is it somebody who lives in the Tucson area and either knows Nancy Guthrie or knows of her and knows her famous daughter is Savannah Guthrie, and it hatches from that? It seems to me, just based on where the letter went, that it's the latter. So the bottom line here, I know that the law enforcement has been saying they are desperate for clues, and they clearly are. But
Give him a break, you guys. He's 75 years old. What you want him to look like? He's ripped. Look at him. He's shredded. The man never skips a day at the gym. I mean, I don't know. Unless he injected that. So I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. We don't have anything else that's new unless you guys find something new. Is there anything out? I haven't seen anything. Okay, this was posted 26 seconds ago. Just in, a tow truck just pulled out of Nancy Guthrie's home. Crime scene with what appears to be a dark gray or dark colored SUV. Hold on one second. I think this might be her actual car being towed. But here's a video from another angle. Does that appear to be her car? Yeah, that looks like the car that's trash. What car was that? What car did she drive? Was that like a Subaru? Harvey is 75, right? I mean, he did look tired in that one CNN interview he did last night. The lighting was just horrible. But other than that, you know, he's a beast for 75, right? Okay, a Subaru. All right. Thanks, C2. We'll figure this out. Yeah, I don't know what to do with my audio. Might be messed up. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But thank you though. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so that's the same video. Sorry, I was looking at something else. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Anything new? I think we covered a lot. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for tonight. What is it, 10 o'clock already? Let me go ahead and give a shout out to everybody who donated and supported the channel. Miss Dizzle for your $2 super chat. Didi Fuentes for your $2.99 super sticker. Ardeca Rose for your $5 super chat. What else do we have? Ronan with his 1 gifted membership. Viking with your 5 gifted membership. Ronan again with another gifted membership. Coco sent 5. Jazzy sent 1. Ronan did another 5. Felicia did 5. David is way guilty did 5. D Lucky did a $10.99 super chat. Yo, whoa. And then I sent 15. Misty with her $2 super chat. Then I sent another 5. Damn. Y'all are crazy. Y'all went ham tonight. So I really want to say thank you guys for supporting the channel. That was super unexpected. The whole chat was green and blue, right? That was awesome. So maybe I'll be on. Got some David stuff to cover, so I know you guys like that D4VD content. Anyways, that's gonna be it. All of you guys that supported the channel, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. We're out, you guys. Oh, hold on. How do we do this? Damn, we weren't ready. Take care, you guys. Peace.